Welcome to the Inglorious Bards. I'm your humble game master, Tom, and this is Adventure 71. Glad to have you here. We are deep into our crazy campaign here in Season 3. We're coming to you live on twitch.tv/Inglorious Bards every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. If you want to join the live show, drop by in the chat, say hi. We always appreciate it. We're also available on our YouTube channel. You can catch the videos there as well as the podcast on every major podcast platform. You can catch all of that and more on our website, ingloriousbards.com. Let's give you a quick look at where we are at in the campaign. The evil Lord of the Dead, Skordrenar, is rising and awakening and growing and growing. He has brought forth an army and has unleashed this army of the dead across multiple nations. He has been waging a war slowly over time and is now really pushing super hard. Our heroes have been gathering different clues to defeat him. They are now far away on the opposite side of the world in a magical realm, in a city called Corindel, where there are massive amounts of wizards and magical studies that happen, hoping to find information and help to take on this Skordrenar dead lord. However, on their way there, they got information about a second threat to the world known as the Honorcrin, a race of golden knights and warriors from another realm altogether that are trying to take over this world. They have cursed several of the heroes. That these heroes, as they say, will die in 1 week's time if a portal is not opened up between this Honorcrin group and the heroes' world. And then the curse will be lifted. And there is one more curse that's happened to the heroes. They have shifted. Each of the heroes is still themselves, but not quite. What that means is we have physically shifted and rotated characters over one space seat to the right so that each player is playing a different character right now. It is the same personality as before. It is the same stats and abilities and powers and everything. It is just played by a different player. So you will expect to see hear a different voice, perhaps, some possibly irrational choices, and probably many deaths as they have no idea what the hell they're doing with their character abilities. We shall see. For now, let's get a quick recap of who our heroes are in shifted form with a look at Piercy, the ratfolk swashbuckler.
Oh, well, Piercy Swashbuckling here. Happy to save your day.
Great. And then we have Master Yaru, our catfolk monk.
I am Yaru. It is my goal to remain calm and demure, even when my cohorts are being dolts.
Nice. And then we have Palik, our lady halfling rogue.
Hello, I'm Palik, and I stab things and make everything bloody and steal shit later.
All right. I'm just right on the verge of Marge every time. I love it. I love it.
Oh, homie.
Oh, drink one now, folks.
And then we have Bali, the dwarven priest.
Yes, I'm the real bully. Don't let anyone fool you and think differently. This character sheet has always been here, and I've always had this voice and beard.
And we have Xander, our little gnome sorcerer.
I'm Xander the Sorcerer, and I'm in love with the lovely Palik.
Damn right you are.
Why was there a pause? And last and certainly least is Sildren the druid.
I'm Sildren the Druid.
There we go. Tim's been working on that all the last 2 weeks. Been bouncing different ideas off of us.
How long did it take you to write that script?
Went with the excited version.
Easy, Tim. Rein it in. Rein it in.
Actor.
All right. With that in mind, let's get a recap of what happened last time from Jeremy.
Emerging from completely taking care of this withering sphere that was knocking a whole bunch of emotional power lines down across Verenn, As soon as we took care of it, second calibrate Anire, showed up and made us aware of this curse. Everyone who wore a band that got us into the Withering Sphere now has 1 week to live. Or we can take what is remaining of the sphere, plant it in the dead center of the entire continent of Verenn, and that at that point only they will release the spell potentially and then take over Verenn. It's a rock and a hard place for sure. Sildren didn't buy it for a second. All we did was threaten Anire before he took off, and then made our way into Corindel, where we were emerged and found the sphere to be. We came up out of the basement and found ourselves to be in, as you heard, the Guild of the Shifters. We went through, because Xander likes to push buttons, and found this advanced level test that was designed for all members of the guild, where you had to really shift a lot of elements around. And it was an amazing puzzle that took almost all of our brains to get ourselves up and out, but we made it through and then made it into the guild. But to leave the guild, a button was pushed and everyone got into a different mind, literally right-sided as all the character sheets moved around. But now we're in Corindel, and we were seeking out the assembly so that we could find some sort of support to take the battle to Scourgeonar and take care of that great threat before we have to deal with whatever the Onocrin is and where they come from. We went into and explored Azimere as outsiders for potentially one of the first times for a lot of other people. And it was amazing. There's floating islands everywhere. There's a large continent that we were a part of. And we found that we couldn't get into the continent because there's also a giant dome that was over the entire continent area that we couldn't breach. No magical force, no physical force. It was a wall. However, Sildren used his abilities to contact and speak with some dolphins that were in the water over that we were floating, and they pointed us to, believe it or not, let's call it a mechanic's room or a mechanic tunnel that was under the water. We've all dealt with water enough times that getting down there was not much of an issue for us. But once we were in, we found that it was not only exceptionally threatening, but to get past the giant mechanic who was there, who was in charge of the room, of the generator room, took a bit because we had to prove ourselves as heroes. But once we did, we were able to get our way through, and he was able to grant us passage. So we started heading down through the tunnel, only to be met with a giant mechanical titan that was blocking our way. That's where we left off, literally under hundreds of thousands of gallons of water inside a tunnel with a giant titan in front of us. So from there, straight away, let the adventure begin.
On the small continent of Azimere lies the city of Corindel, where the greatest wizards and magicians practice their arts. The city is made of two sections. The first is a bunch of small islands lightly floating above the ocean, with beautiful shops and homes connected by magical bridges of light. The other half of the city is on the continent itself, tucked within a bay. This half of Corindel is made of tall spires where schools of magic teach new students, guilds of sorcerers create new spells, and where the Assembly of Azimere gathers. The Assembly is who the heroes hope to meet to gain knowledge and aid for the upcoming clash with their enemies. The shallow waters of the bay separate the two sections of the city. It is here, beneath the waves, where the heroes travel. Making their way through dangerous magic and challenging riddles, the heroes march through a tunnel beneath the ocean. Their goal? Find a way beneath a magical dome around the city and contact the Assembly. The heroes walk through this tall and incredibly long undersea tunnel of stone, reinforced with metal beams. Water drips down the walls and collects in small pools on the floor. At the front of the group, Yaru's voice echoes through the tunnel.
I still do not feel quite right. Something seems off.
Sildren the Druid answers.
Something off other than we're under an ocean right now?
Yes, I do not seem like myself. Not exactly. I am, but not me.
Bali the dwarf nods his head in agreement.
I feel it too. Like I'm here looking at you, but I'm also walking beside myself.
Palik the halfling joins in.
Yep, me too. And I know what had happened. Back at the Shifty Shifters Guild Place thingy. The magic there did something to my head.
Oh, all of our heads.
Piercy the swashbuckler ratfolk skips along the tunnel.
Hey. Well, I am excited that we all get to meet the wizards and witches of Azimere.
The who?
The wizards and witches.
The what now? What is he saying?
Say after me now. The wizards.
Wizards.
Witches.
Witches.
Yes, wizards and witches. Wizards and witches, you got it.
I still have no idea what he's saying.
Xander the gnome sorcerer gets a concerned look on his face.
Hey, everyone. Let's not forget one important fact.
What's that, Zanny?
Don't forget that we're still cursed by the Onarcrin. It's the nasty Anire is to be believed. Some of us have only a week to live.
6 days, actually.
6 days. Oh, great. Just 6 days before 4 of us are killed by this curse. That's not a lot of time. I'm too young. I'm adorable. I don't want to die. I have so much that I still want to do. I want to travel far away, exotic places, and meet interesting people. I want to breathe underwater like a fish, I said, and sail through the air like a dragon. I want to.
You've already done all that already. You've been a dragon and traveled to other worlds.
Yeah, but that was for work. Traveling for fun is one thing, but doing it while you're stuck with coworkers, it's just not the same.
Be that as it may.
Sinners on cocaine.
I mean, yeah, right? Have I been missing something?
Hey, it ain't White Lotus, let me tell you. Sorry.
Be that as it may, according to the Onarcrin, if we use the device they left behind to bring some of them to our world, the curses on us will be lifted. But to be clear, I'm not sure they are speaking the truth.
We are strong and mighty heroes, Xander. What's the worst that could happen in just a few days?
Shit. A lot. We could fit this entire campaign into a few days.
Things always turn out for little Piercy here, and things will turn out for all right for you. As I says, what's worst that could happen, yeah?
What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? I've been through a lot. Let me tell you again. You're talking to the sorcerer who's blasted orcs and goblins and dragons and skeletons, zombies, shadows, pirates, and ghosts, knights, and giants, and thieves, and automatons, and sea monsters, and witches, and dragonkin, and giant worms, and Goliaths. I've been through too much. Too much, I say.
Woo! Palik pulls Xander aside. Palik pulls Xander aside and puts her hands on his cheeks.
Zanny, it's okay. Relax. We're all going to get through this. Fix this curse and save the world.
And then what? What do we do when this is all over?
We'll go somewhere far away. Someplace magical and relaxing.
Just the two of us?
Just the two of us, my brave little gnome.
Thanks. I needed that. I love you, my little snuggy wuggy bear.
I love you too, Snuggles.
Hey now, what's that sound up ahead? It sounds like a screechy, grindy, clanky, clanky.
That sounds like heavy footsteps ahead. Big metal footsteps. We've got trouble ahead. Nasty big trouble.
You are approaching a large room with gears and cogs and steam and vents and water still dripping down the sides. Ahead of you is a series of lights that are on the floor that are evaporating any sense of water that is there. In addition, there are gears that are hanging in circular areas above in the ceiling. Most importantly, dominating this room is a giant metal machine, humanoid in shape, that goes by the name Generator Titan. There's a door not shown on our battle map. There's a door on the opposite end of the room that is big and iron and closed. This creature seems its sole purpose is to defend anyone from coming through here. Even though you've been given permission to proceed through, it does not care. It is made of giant hunks of metal. It is a bit rusted at times, but appears to be massive and tall. It gives off this wave of impressive and almost dominating energy that it is much bigger than even you think it is. So much so that I want to tell you it has an ability called Impossible Stature. And when anyone is within 100 feet of it, which is pretty much everyone, it is difficult terrain if you move towards it because it's so imposing. Just an FYI of how that will work. That is this giant creature. It has big metal hands to grasp and punch and smash, and it sees you, cocks its head, and starts charging forward. We have a battle on our hands. We will display the map on our video here, and I'm about to roll initiative for everybody.
Everybody, please go before me.
Not what you say.
Tim's like, I'm telling.
Not the secret word.
Sounds awesome.
All right, I'm rolling initiatives now.
It doesn't count because I didn't say it.
What counts? Just because of Tim's reaction, it counts.
All right. First up is Palik, who has rolled a total of 50 on her initiative for this round. And Palik, you are up first. So essentially, we have this generator type room. There's some large columns in the way. What you'll see are circular gears that are just suspended above you. You can easily walk over them, and then you can see those hot evaporating areas that are on the floor, almost like a spotlight shining straight down, but you don't see any source of it. There's some cranes that are nearby that have gears that move around. There's vents with some hot steam water coming out, and in the center of the room, you guys are on the southern section. In the center of the room is this giant generator titan. Palik is first. What do you got?
Palik kind of shuffles in her cloak there and unfurls, and this heavy cloak flaps out and then fills with air, and she is now taken off and is now moving with great alacrity, semi-great alacrity, through the air.
Oh,
it's a giant bat.
Bat. Is that with bat flight or bat shape?
Bat flight.
Okay. So she is flying. Is that an action to do?
I'm assuming yes.
All right.
And then you're gonna move twice.
Then I'm looking about. Is there stable high ground?
No.
There is not.
But there's those circular things are like chandeliers.
No, they're more like cogs that are sticking out from underneath the ceiling.
Okay, so they're not in the way.
No.
Are they attached? Like, could you cut them down?
There's like a big metal pin that comes out, and they extend out and connect to other smaller ones, but those are the major ones that you see.
Interesting.
And everything's turning. I'm
Yep.
guessing. Oh, they're all moving.
Turning, grinding. The room is reverberating with these clicking noises and grinding noises and steam venting noises. It's also warm.
And this ballista-looking thing, is that in the way, or is that above as
That's
well?
on the ground in the way.
I need to... Zanny, hold on! And she sweeps in and picks up Xander and moves him to a better spot for lining up a shot.
Whee!
All right.
So you gotta pick Xander up, and then where are you going?
I think that would be
Over
my
here?
third action, would be grabbing him.
Yep.
Okay.
And then any movement towards him will be difficult terrain, cutting the distance in half.
Oh. So
Not
you're
just on the
gonna be
ground?
able-
Even if you're flying?
It's an imposing thing, not a grand.
Very
How
sick.
big is that thing?
The dude?
The general.
Generator Titan.
Generator.
He hasn't gotten that rank yet. He's still working on it.
We're not saving any time with this general. Let me
He
tell
is
you.
massive. He's as big as the game gets with
Okay, then
gargantuan, so he is tall.
So he's bigger than like a 20-foot radius.
Wow, he is the radius that is on there, which is
Okay.
15 feet by 15 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Testing.
Sildren, you're up, Sildren.
Real quick, Tim and I are both a little robotic in our audio.
Okay, well, I want to ping the Tim. Want to do the audio interface?
Stand by.
Stand by. We're gonna do our audio. Fix it.
What spell are you thinking about?
What are you doing there, buddy?
Hey, what punch are you thinking about doing over there, Seth?
All right. We're back.
Which punch?
Children wants to cast
Gotta get there
Solid
first.
Fog.
All right. Are all the mics working?
Don't have that memorized.
I don't.
No. You have a spell list, my
But
friend.
for sure. Just
They are right here. Those are your options.
I can't. Well, then why do I have these?
That's your full spell list you
Shunning
can
fists
choose
on
from
weapons.
to then
Right.
narrow down to these.
Once for him.
Sildren needs to figure out what he wants to
At
do.
least once, I just forget it.
And we're doomed.
Because it's the same day, right? So it's
All right,
still
Sildren delays then, and Bali, you can go.
Oh, wonderful. This is exactly what I need. Everyone in a nearby sphere. Does anyone need healing? No? All right. In that case, Bali decides to do something effective. Bali will send out.
For once.
I don't do it very often, but I'm pretty sure I have a divine spell that's impressive.
I am judging the shit out of you right now.
It looks good. It's an eclipse burst.
What? You can't cast that.
A globe of freezing darkness.
This is gonna be such a fun game for Dom.
It says divine. Oh,
You don't know me.
greater magic vision that you have prevents you from casting anything with a darkness trait.
Correct.
It's got darkness in it.
I'm assuming so. With the
It says freezing darkness. That's the fourth word.
There's some
Yeah.
themes
there's
we
some
don't
traits
do.
on
Yeah.
there, but
Got it. All right then. I will.
Bali delays, Master Yaru.
So much for after you.
Because you didn't say the words right.
yeah. You all messed up. You had 2 weeks to look at your stuff.
Yaru, what do you got?
Yaru's the only one who can get there at this
yeah,
point.
Yaru's going to also the furthest further one away. Is going to use 3 actions to. That's 2 right there.
Make a DC 44 will save real fast. Real fast. Here we go.
Don't be afraid.
Natural 20.
You can ignore that effect entirely, his stature effect,
Oh.
for the rest of this battle.
Way to go, Yaru! We're all cheering for you, especially Piercy.
Well, then I can easily get there.
So Yaru is charging across the battlefield,
Oh, yeah.
racing towards this guy.
Oh, is this thing in the middle? Is that is that a pillar generating this?
These things?
Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah, it's a
Okay.
pillar. Yeah.
it's a pillar. Okay.
Mhm. And then has 1 action to do a 1-inch punch.
That's a 2-action minimum.
1-inch punch is, but you have a speed room.
Oh, yeah.
More importantly, I want to mention as you cross that first white area of warm evaporation effect in your way, you take 25 points of fire damage. And then
Is that a straight column all the way to the ceiling kind of thing, or is it just on the base?
you don't. No one's gone through it yet.
I thought you just went through it. All right.
No one's gone through it vertically yet. Oh,
And then what about the second one? I take. What happens to the second? with the
and
second-
then once you get on the other side, you're done. And do you want to continue straight through the second one?
Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Nice.
All right. Burning as Yaru runs through this. It burns and burns and burns.
Wait, what happened?
Yaru took 25 points of damage.
So is the smoke,
Don't
is
into
that
the
smoke-
lights.
Is that smoke like?
And don't worry about your Xander. You don't care about their lives.
Was that
so.
willpower save for that?
It's
effect?
fire damage.
No.
Don't worry about it. You don't care.
So I don't have to make that will save anymore?
Correct.
Okay. Is that smoke visible?
It is not smoke. It is steam just a little bit, and yes, you can see where it's at.
Watch. That was so bad. Of course, what?
Don't make fun of me.
It was. Watch the steam. Watch the steam. Don't step into it. And that's the end of Master Yaru.
You still have 2 actions to go. 3 actions to go. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I sure do. I'm gonna move this way a little. And
You can hit him from far away if you enter a stance.
if the enter stance, but that's an action. Right? I'll enter the wind stance.
All right. Waving his hands around,
Stance.
he enters into the wind stance, a breeze going around you. You have any actions remaining?
No.
Okay.
I picture you doing the Shang-Chi movements, and like it's all swirling around with the leaves. And
Yeah,
the
totally.
shoulders.
No, but he's
If
got
you
to
wanna
capture up some of that
attack, you
steam,
could.
and he like builds it up
You know,
around him,
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
No, but because like two movements, 3 movements.
Oh, was it? That's
Yeah.
right.
We're doing your choreography.
So, yeah, I got that.
It is the Generator Titan's turn. It reaches out with a massively long, extended metal claw at Yaru from 30 feet away and strikes.
Wow.
Shh. Yaru is attacked for a 50 to hit.
That was a hit.
A regular hit.
Gross.
Gross. You take 37 points of piercing damage. What was that? Okay. Then he's gonna go ahead and do it a couple more times. Yeah, he'll do it again. Big Giant then swings again at Yaru for
Lay
a
off me, man.
49 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yaru is hit again. He's running through, getting burned, and getting clawed at for 38 more points of piercing damage. And then the machine is going to step back a little bit, just about 10 feet. It is
Zing hits hard.
it's Xander's turn. Also, Sildren and Bali can jump in at any time to interrupt initiative.
And no. I'm going to cast Fiery Body, so Xander becomes a just a living flame, essentially.
Ooh! I just wanted to remind you that you might be embraced by plague at the moment.
No,
Not yet. Not yet.
Just right next.
Third action
Third
was
a-
not to grab Xander.
Third action was getting there. It took 2 actions to get
Okay.
there.
All right.
Palik still has the same length of leg as Volley, so
Movement's hard.
And then Xander will move to the northwest.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go try and hit that thing.
Okay.
And somebody want to move me to the northwest?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
I cannot do it.
I have 1 action.
How
far
are
do you go?
moving?
As far
25.
25. Yeah.
Well, that's
Oh,
it's
you're
difficult
flying.
terrain.
You're flying though.
It's still difficult terrain.
still difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
So
well,
so half
make a
Whatever I
willpower
can.
save real fast.
flight is 20 feet.
let's see. 19 plus whatever my willpower is. Willpower is 30. 49.
You're good. You can ignore the effect.
'Kay.
For now.
Yep. So 25 feet northwest, staying away from all the little hard things that are around.
Any other actions?
I think I'm done.
Oh, because you cast a flaming form. Gotcha. All right. And everyone, you can just start your turn by rolling a 44 will to ignore that imposing stature. Again, Sildren and Bali can jump in any time. Otherwise, it is Piercy's turn.
Is that a mental effect?
I'll check.
Sildren Bali?
Bolly will cast a Divine Beacon. Make sure I have that right. I'm
Yes.
the beacon thing.
Okay.
I'm a beacon. Vital beacon! Got it.
Use it all the time. Vital beacon. We're
What
best
level?
friends.
Why are you trying to make this hard for him?
Level 6 was obviously the choice I was going to go with. Level 6 vital beacon.
Okay,
I'm sure we'll use it later.
so people who touch you or you touch them get some healing.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else, Molly?
Bolly tries to move.
Knee jerk reaction to respond.
Everyone's running. What's that?
I'm just.
That's a natural 20 for my will save.
You can ignore this power the rest of the game.
Took notes here before.
Oh no! As fast as everyone else.
no.
Don't you dare.
Look at me beard. Very fine beard.
Where are you moving?
Oh, I'm following Xander. Everyone's going up to the west.
How far?
I can move, so I can ignore the effects. So I'll go full speed at 25 feet.
Okay. Next up is Piercy, and Sildren can go in any order, or Sildren will lose his action for this round.
Sildren will cast Whirlwind.
How tall is the ceiling?
80 feet tall.
Perfect.
That's perfect. So he casts Whirlwind.
It needed to be 80 feet.
Oh, really?
higher.
Exactly?
Yeah.
It's 79, actually.
And I roll? No, creature
powerful
rolls.
winds coalesce into a devastating tornado. All creatures in the area take 5d10. Reflex save.
Great. So there's a big tornado whirling around this dude, right?
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
sustainable.
Okay.
Movable.
It hits everything. It's
5d10.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Roll the
Yeah.
damage right now, Tim.
All right.
Be on the back
Oh,
side.
I need 5.
Oh, natural 20.
Never mind.
Of course.
Chris turns over. Welcome to Sildren Land, Tim.
Yaru in his whirlwind stance, I think would be immune to your tornado effect.
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Natural 20. And then how big is this?
It's a 15-foot radius.
Okay, so great. So it's centered on him,
Yeah.
and that'll keep it tight. And then it's a sustain spell?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else you're doing? You good?
Doing that, and then I'm going to move behind this pillar over by Piercy.
Don't forget Shunka.
Does he get to move for free?
He gets either a move or an attack.
Did your will save? How'd you do on that? Are you still?
Oh,
44 will.
that is that's a 48.
Okay.
And critical success. All successes are criticals.
On the will saves, you ignore the rest of the battle.
Awesome.
What the heck?
How far are you moving?
35 feet, and then
How far Shunka moving?
Shunka is going to charge towards
All will successes for Xander
however
are
far he
critical.
goes. How far does Shunka move? 50.
I cannot move Shunka. That's on you, Tom. Sorry.
Okay.
50 feet.
50 feet
To where?
towards
Towards Sildren.
The generator.
Northwest.
Okay. We'll do something like that. Great. Piercy von Skeetenlever. Sir Piercy.
Piercy rolled a 19, but it's not a strike, so that doesn't matter. So I got a 43 for my will save.
Oh, all right. You are affected by the
Have to roll
imposing
a natural
stature.
20 to get rid of that, unfortunately.
So the only ones left are Piercy and Palik are affected by it, or could be affected by it.
Could be effective.
Yes.
Got it.
With that in mind, Piercy will run north. I have. Is it an action to do that? Will save?
No.
Okay. First action will be to activate the anklets of alacrity,
So extra speed.
which will be now 65 movement speed, so half that, so 30, I guess.
Where are you going?
I'm just going to go north, and I'm actually going to try to run up this obstacle in our way to gain some panache. So Piercy's going to run north and up this kind of wooden thing with his sword out, kind of Naruto style.
Did you use your panache already?
No, you have panache currently because you did after you.
You did after you. You got
Oh,
panache.
okay, great.
Yeah, you're
I still
low.
want to do it because it's fun.
Sure. Yeah.
And jump off of that and get as far north as I
30
can.
feet?
So actually, it would now be 45.
55.
Well, but it's halved. So I activated the anklets, and I have panache, so it's like 80 something, but it's half, so 40. 40 feet, just up on top of that thing, and I'll kind of get to the end of that, and I'll say, "Well, hey, fear the winds of the defenders of everything. We come for you now."
Nice. And you continue to run, or are you done?
That's my last action because I'm too far away.
Gotcha. We're at the start initiative, which is all messed up due to delaying, and Palik is first. And essentially, we have a whole bunch of people going to the northwest to get around this big column, while the creature's even further north. No one's within like 30, 40 feet of it still.
We don't
Oh,
want to
wait.
Except for the
Wait. Did I mention wait? The lights move and the burning changes, and these spheres on the ground change locations.
Uh-oh.
Continue, Palik.
Palik is flying due north to get near or by.
Did you do your will check?
I did. I failed.
How many movements are you gonna do?
I think it's gonna take all three to get next to Yaru.
Oh, Yaru's way up there. You're not getting even close. You can get next to Shunka
1, 2, 3 of
or Bali.
15, 45.
Yeah.
Get me close to Bali now. I feel safe. You know, I hear it's a good idea to be close to Bali whenever he starts casting spells.
Unlike other people, I will do it.
Yeah, Palik's finally going to learn
That is
that
all
lesson.
three of my actions at reduced movement.
All right, Yaru.
Yaru doesn't like the shifting sands at all.
You're closest to it, still about 30, 40 feet away,
Yeah. And just,
with this burning ground in the way.
it's more than 30 feet away.
You have a 60-foot line attack.
What is that?
Your wind attack is either a 30-foot cone or a 60-foot line. It's a ranged attack, so it's just a melee attack, but from 60 feet away,
Okay.
right in front of you.
And I can do that more than once?
It's just an attack, yeah.
Sweet.
You're in the stance, so you can just do it.
Okay, so I'm in the wind stance. And then the tornado, Sildren's tornado, is like pretty close, like helping me out. Not really, but that's what Yaru thinks. And it's going to shoot out some wind at this big bastard.
All right.
Oof. With a 45.
45
Hit.
is a miss.
That's...
My cabbages.
Wind just bounces off of its metal.
I'm gonna do it again. And fail again.
All right.
And then
Alistair's over there nodding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what
far,
happened.
so good.
Well done, my son.
Then
Well done.
he's going to move
The student becomes the master.
one movement over here. And
Heading a little closer to Piercy.
heading a little closer to Piercy, so maybe they can do some action together. on
All
this.
right. The generator titan moves closer to you, Yaru and Piercy. It also walks vertically up 10 feet as well, as it has the airwalk ability.
Up in the air?
Yep. So it's about 10 feet up, and you see this giant stomp, and then giantly moving towards you. And that was his first action. Its second is to lash out at Piercy, standing on top of this crane a little bit up in the air with its piercing claws with a total of, I don't think that's a good one. Wait. It is a total of 48 to hit.
That is a critical hit.
Oh, shoot.
38 AC.
Oh.
That's what it says here. Unless I have my buckler, then it's not a critical.
Tim, buckler situation for Piercy real
Is it
fast.
on or-
Is it on?
It's always on.
Then not a critical.
Like,
Regular
it's on,
hit.
It's on as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't take an action. All right.
Is that factored into the AC, or does it add
No,
to the AC?
it's plus
No,
one.
he has a written plus
I have,
one.
I have it written
All right,
down.
41 points of piercing damage to Piercy. Its second attack is going to be an attack on Yaru. Its big metal claws trying to crunch through your skin with a 54 to hit Yaru.
It's critical.
Critical on Yaru. Not a single bit of
Are
damage has been
these-
done to this.
This isn't a ranged attack at all.
This is not a ranged attack. That is 105 points of damage to Yaru. When that happens, everyone gasps, and then everyone looks at Jeremy, who's playing the role of Bali.
You've got 55 hit points, and you're doing fine.
Xander is up next. The group, most of the group is still far away.
All right, Xander will go to the north. When the lights, that's fire damage, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Xander will move to the north, 25 feet, try to get a line of sight on the creature.
All right. You go through this burning ground circle and take 25 points of fire damage.
Except I am immune to fire damage in my
Nice.
fiery body.
Go right through it.
25 feet, you said?
Yeah, actually, okay, so if I'm not going to be able to get line of sight on them, I will go to the southeast then a little bit.
You can fly, so you've got 40 feet as your movement speed.
I don't have to cast a spell or anything to do that?
Your fiery body, you already did
Oh,
that. You fly.
beautiful. 40 feet.
Perfect.
And then Xander is then going to cast... I got this. Chain lightning.
Chain lightning. That's a reflex save on the part of the creature.
Uh-huh.
All right. It gets a 42.
42, it will pass, so it'll take half damage. Oh my god, I have no d12s.
I got D12s.
Beautiful.
I had to sacrifice that one.
Yeah, no.
Alright, that's 10, 13 plus 35. 13, 35, 47. So 47 points of damage.
47 points of
13 and
damage.
35?
That's halved?
Yeah.
So 23.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And are you making that bounce to other people nearby?
No.
Okay, the first bit of damage, lightning crackles out and zaps the creature. Bali is up.
All right. And I believe that I just got into the wrong side of the pole from Yoru and Piercy. So,
Christopher's also nodding right now.
Bali is going to move east, straight, the full 25 feet.
You're going to take damage. You can try to go around it.
Yeah, let's see. 2 actions to cast for most, yes? So if I wanted to widen it or extend a reach spell, that has to be 3 actions?
It would have to be a 3-action version of a single target.
This is... I don't like your job at all. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm going to avoid the fire damage. So I'm going to go just a little bit south like you were doing there, Seth. Just still getting closer to Yaru and to Piercy, who are, what looks like 40 feet away?
45 and 50.
Neato. Looking out for Yaru. God, I'm gonna keep walking a bit closer around the fire. So up towards where Piercy is and
All right, is that all your
behind that
actions?
machine. Yeah, just
Sildren,
moving around,
you're
get
next.
closer.
Sildren is going to move the whirlwind to follow
Okay.
the generator, and that's another
Reflex save?
is it, what was it, fortitude?
Reflex, yeah.
Okay,
46.
Success. Not
Okay.
a critical.
not a critical though. So
Half damage. And then what are you going to do with your 2 actions?
Nice.
12, 16, 25, 31.
All right, so half of that's 15. And what are you going to do with your remaining actions?
My remaining actions,
It's in your gear
2 actions. Sildren is going to cast Earthbind,
Yeah, I see it.
Earthbind.
It's actually on there.
and that is a fortitude save.
Care to describe this?
Basically, his weight will cause him to not be able to be in the air.
Okay.
Levitate.
Fortitude save. What's the DC he's looking for?
39.
39.
Okay. He has rolled a 52.
Okay. So he's fine.
Sildren is done. Piercy, you are up on top of this crane about 25
Shunka.
feet away.
Oh yeah,
Shunka go.
Shunka wants to move 50 feet toward the generator.
Are you gonna go through the fire?
Does going through it matter?
We're gonna give you. You're gonna get 25 points of damage.
Just by going through it, not by stopping in it.
I don't know what happens when you stop in it. Nobody's done that yet.
All right then.
So it's not fun.
Wisely so.
Shunka's gonna run around to the southeast, back around the pillar, and make his way 50 feet
Okay.
around the fire.
All right, Piercy, you're up.
Piercy. I'm waiting for a visual.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Let's see. Piercy wants to get closer, but is having trouble. Yes, I would like to do that.
Why don't you tumble
How
through,
far
Piercy?
is pretty tall, but
So, yeah, how far can I get to him
Yeah, you can.
with my half speed, even though I'm
you gotta run through.
alacrity?
this,
Well, no, I'm gonna go northwest, like to Yaru, and then kind of zigzag so I avoid the
You can-
damage.
You can also roll to see if you can get rid of.
Oh, I have to do that anyway, don't I? For the movement speed. That's not gonna work. So yeah, I'm still half speed. I will
You can get
go.
to him. Yeah.
You can take 2 moves, tumble through, and still have a move left.
Sure, I will actually tumble behind him. So kind of zigzag, bouncing off of Yaru's head, you know.
Technically under him.
Make an acrobatics roll.
And yes, I will go. Or he's airwalking. Do I have to? Because I can
You
move
still
through
have
small
to make
spaces.
an acrobatics
Yeah.
roll.
Okay.
It's part of the mechanic.
33, no problem, no problem. With a
Actually, you can't even do that. There's no way you can tumble through him dramatically for Panache since he's off the ground.
kind of go like slide under him.
He's too far up.
You're like getting a galaxy
He's
quest.
trying to jump
Just
up.
I can just like
rolling
get a
hell.
hold
can I
of
just
his
like
leg.
run under him?
You can go underneath him, but it will not give you any Panache if that's your
I
goal.
already have panache.
I'm just saying you cannot tumble
You're
through.
not gonna get your. You won't
Fat-footed
flat-footed.
bonus.
Oh, I don't get that bonus.
That's what
Okay.
tumble
But I would get a flanking bonus if I'm on the other side of him after the.
No
fact,
one's close enough on the other side to flank him.
Okay, I'll just get kind of 2 attack range
Stab it.
to him. Yeah, without tumbling through, and I will attack with our nice shiny.
Tim, does he need your big placard in front of you?
I need the tricorn.
Just remember to add your 9 and 6 to the attacks.
Okay.
All right, good luck. Make your roll.
Thanks. Good luck, everybody else. Plus 33 to attack.
And you get a +1 right now to your rolls
Nothing
as
is happening with a 38.
39.
That's a miss.
You have a
That
+1
was-
to all your rolls
that was
as well
+1.
right now.
That
Why
was
is-
the
why is
plus
that,
one.
Tim?
That was this one.
From his blessing that he has.
Oh, right.
That lasts for a week.
But
so
that,
that's
that was a plus 1.
Yep,
So,
miss. Keep going.
We'll try again.
First person toe-to-toe with it.
Let's go with a 41, 42.
42 is a miss.
Yes.
Just clanking off of his toe armor.
And with a well, that would be 2. I think I did 1 action too many actually.
Okay.
2 movements and an action.
We're good.
Miss.
That is the end of the round, and there is movement of the circles on the ground.
I didn't.
Oh. Yeah. Get out of here.
But I'm now in your way.
They all shift around, creating different areas on the ground that are hot and scalding. It is Palik's turn.
So it looks like one of those is hitting the generator,
Uh-huh.
and that's doing nothing to
No
it.
damage to it.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Okay. You're right.
In addition, the light is not even touching the floor. There is no light on the creature or the floor in the spaces that it occupies.
Okay, so it's actually not hitting him at all.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just going to assume you can.
Which is actually better news. Yeah.
Oh, so you can get right on it. Right up to it.
Palik, did you make your will save?
No, I failed.
Okay, you're going to take 25 points of fire damage going through that area.
Even there's like space there.
25.
Little Malik can't squeeze through.
I'll allow it. You're good. Just shimmying. Do you have quick squeeze?
I might actually.
Nope.
She does not.
Nope. You
No.
take 25 points of fire damage then.
Can't lift my hopes and dash me like that.
Yeah, that's
25
called being a
points
game master.
of scalding damage for me.
All right. You are.
But I am
But
up
you have
against the
no
creature.
movement.
No, I have no movement. That's fine.
So you just raced right up to it and then stopped.
Oh, he's big.
Master Yaru, you're next before the generator titan goes.
Yep. I want to talk. Master Yaru is going to spend an action looking at these cogs on the roof.
Okay.
How much space? Are they right up against the roof? Is there any
Yeah, there's about 5-foot gap between the roof and the cog.
And it's 80-foot tall roof.
Yes.
Said somebody with wings needs to get up there. Drop a chandelier on this mother.
I'm not a swashbuckler.
It's not Yaru. No, but you do have wings.
I do have wings.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Speaking of which, with this, did my movement stop right there, or
You
it
could have
was
gone
like-
further,
I would like to be further and floating through him or above
like
him.
past him.
If I can get to the other side of him, that would have been great.
All right.
Hello.
What you got, Yaru?
Palik, listen to Yaru.
That's. No. Yep. Okay.
Okay, Yaru.
He's not doing great.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He sees Bali over here.
Come touch my hand.
I said my hand.
Gonna spend a movement.
You're
to
falling
move over
back.
here,
Falling back.
and then is gonna do the wind punch like.
Falling back to Bali and then doing some wind punch action. Good luck.
That's it's terrible. 40.
40 is light dusting.
That should probably work.
Natural
though.
20.
Natural 20 is what is the total to hit?
49.
Is a critical hit.
Ding, ding, ding.
Also, we got some adamantium strikes here. So anything that you were going to try to do to ignore damage.
Okay.
This is a ghost magical adamantine werewolf punch.
What kind of damage is it? All the damage.
What type isn't it not?
48. 48 damage.
What type of damage?
Bludgeoning.
It matters.
40 of that is bludgeoning,
Okay.
and 8 of it is fire.
It takes all of that damage. Huge. The biggest blow to this machine yet.
Takes the fire damage.
Yep.
Okay. It's also going to have some persistent damage.
During its turn. I think it's the end of its turn. It makes a flat save.
Yep.
You can start rolling the damage now. It is its turn.
Well, I got one more.
Oh, you have
one more
another
punch.
attack?
And it also needs to make a fortitude save real quick.
That's true.
For some sort of stunning thing?
Yes.
Natural 20 will ignore that effect the rest of the battle.
Jeez.
Told you.
The last win doesn't. It goes short.
All right.
I literally told him he'll probably get a nat 20 on the fortitude save, so don't worry about it.
It is the Titan's turn. It steps away from Palik and towards that machine and is kind of in a mass of 4 heroes and then spins around on its upper section, its legs planted, spins and whips around with its metal claws extended, striking at all 4 of you guys with only 2 actions. This is going to be a brutal quad attack. There is good news, though. This counts as a -3 attack penalty to all 4 of these attacks.
So only probably 55
Yes.
or so. Yeah.
So we'll start at the top with Palik. You think you're safe for a moment, and then there's.
So he's on the ground now. He's planted himself in. He's not airwalking.
Yeah, we'll say he's go down. Yeah, sure. 34 to hit Palik.
You missed me, bastard!
Is missed. Piercy is a 34 to hit.
Not yet.
Yaru,
He said 34.
He's at 44.
34.
34, I'm sorry.
Yaru
Tell
is
me my business.
Nope.
Yaru is critically hit with a natural 20.
Yaru drops dead.
Yaru is dying 1.
Unconscious.
Wait, no, I mean I have a spell, a reaction spell. This says drop dead. Hang on.
What?
He might actually be unconscious though.
When he gets hit, it looks as though Yaru completely goes stiff and drops dead, because I have just cast my reaction spell called Drop Dead. The target appears to fall down dead, though it actually turns invisible. Its illusory corpse remains where it fell. Complete. Wait a minute. Does he actually still take the hit? Though?
Still takes the hit.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of them that are dead now. No, all right, he doesn't drop dead.
Yeah, that's
he
more-
actually drops dead.
It's not protection, it's illusionary
Right.
based.
Okay.
Do we have 2 people down?
No,
No, just
a joke. All right, Yaru drops,
Just a volley jack.
dying 1, and Bali is also caught in this nasty whirlwind attack with a 39 to hit.
oh, it just hits.
Just hits. Bali is hit for 43 points of piercing damage. Yaru is bleeding out unconscious.
Yeah, you can do a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
9 lives.
Next up is Xander.
I don't like what's going on.
Wait.
Xander, can you detect any magic in this room?
Yeah, Xander is going to spend. So, trying to identify where these fireballs might be directed or controlled from, I'll spend an action looking around, using my arcane knowledge to try and figure that out.
Sure, make an Arcana roll, please.
You do the thing.
You gotta do the thing.
No.
There you go.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay, Arcana, 48.
With a 48, you are able to see one of the sources of this. It is a slightly invisible, almost like a predator cloaked thing up in the ceiling. You cannot tell what its shape is, but it definitely seems to be the function of this. You can see it slightly move as the circle on the floor, the burning circle on the floor moves.
It's up there. Get it.
And the ceiling's 80. Okay.
80 feet up.
And then Xander will then cast. What is it? Volcanic Eruption.
Okay.
And that's going to be kind of set back to the kind of east of this creature a little bit, but just within its range. It's a 5-foot radius. It's an 80-foot tall cylinder, so it's kind of working with the whirlwind and just.
All right.
The ground opens up, spraying a column of lava high into the air in a vertical cylinder, dealing 14d6 fire damage to creatures in the area. I thought there was like a bludgeon damaging as well. So 14d6 fire damage. And it will become difficult. It's going to be encased in rock and clumsy 1. Lava rapidly cools in case of creature in the area. Creature encased in rock is clumsy 1 and takes a negative 10-foot status penalty. All normal terrain is difficult to a flying creature, and such creatures immediately descend 20 feet.
All right, making a reflex save for this thing. It sees it coming and sidesteps away with a 43.
It will succeed. Now, how are you doing the damage here? You're just doing 4 and then adding
Full add 49. Yeah.
Takes half damage.
6, 7, 10, 13 plus 49, 59, 62, 31.
All right. 31 points of damage is
And it's sustained.
oh plenty. Can
I
you
believe. Wait. Yes, maybe.
I don't have any duration on it at all.
It takes half damage, but there's no ongoing fire damage on that one.
Right. But then it is also now clumsy 1, and
Yeah, I don't think this
I
is
don't know how that
a
works.
continued. This is not a continued spell. It's
Oh,
just
no,
an
okay.
eruption.
Got it.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for Xander.
All right. Bali. People hit,
Right,
people
Smalley.
down.
Yeah, so Bali is.
Did you not know it was your turn?
It took me a second. I was looking at Christopher like, what are you going to do?
Good luck.
Bali moves up to Yaru and will cast it.
Teabag him.
He's right there. So he can
Just
actually
to
move it.
touch him to heal him. To heal
But
him.
we'll touch him and cast heal.
So you're moving up to Yaru and closer to the creature, and
Why did he
then
get-
casting
Correct.
Casting a heal. A 2-action heal?
2-action heal.
What level?
I'll be casting it at level 9.
Level 9!
You don't have to be next to him.
Why not? Isn't it a touch? Oh, I could reach.
2 actions.
Action is a range 30
feet, yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll stay where I'm at.
Did you do any studying?
I looked at a couple of things.
Dwarf?
It said dwarf.
What is there to study?
17.
I couldn't get past the movement speed
24.
section.
I was just stunned.
24 and 8 is 32 plus 100 plus 28. That's 160 points.
Wow.
Of
That's,
healing.
that sounds way too high
It's way too high.
For a level 9 directed
level 9.
heal?
for what he's been doing.
48
All
plus
of
100.
my heal spells will be base 100 plus 3d10 and change. So you shouldn't really be exceeding.
So the plus
30.
28 isn't a thing. that's
Plus
ever-
28 is if you do the cone, and that's the baseline for that one. Then it's 3d10 plus 28.
Got it. So we're gonna move.
Why, if you're casting a level 9 heal spell, do you only get 3d10?
3d10 plus 100.
He's already done the math,
already done the math.
with a plus 100 in there.
Yeah. So, thank you.
We've
With that
done this
correction-
to simplify, apparently, the process.
I have a YouTube channel that explains these.
These short notes are make sense for him.
All right,
so
roll it,
take
roll it.
It's
away.
true. They weren't.
Big heal.
134 points of healing.
Still seems high.
It's 80? Is it 100?
It's 100.
100 plus 3d10.
plus 3d10.
Oh, I think I was doing 40-10. That is 25. Sorry, 125.
There you go.
Points
Wow.
of
That
healing.
still
Let's
seems
now bring
high.
it down. Can you do high 90s?
Let's take 30% off.
120, 125, 125, 125.
Bali has another action left. Otherwise, Sildren, you're up.
Bali's going to get further away from the Titan.
Okay.
And
Which way?
I don't mean to tell you your business at all, Bali, but since he's getting up from that, he is now affected with a resurrectionist fast healing 5 is what you've got. So you've got 5 healing every turn after that.
Why?
There's an ability Bali's got.
your thing.
All right. Sildren, go.
Can Shunka go before Sildren, or does it have to be after?
No, it can be before.
Okay. Sildren nods towards Shunka, and Shunka races over to the generator titan, takes a leap and a bite. So Sildren's giving one of his
Okay.
actions, and so he's attempting a jaw attack.
This will likely fail. Teeth on metal.
Oh,
No way.
been awesome.
It's a 19.
Ooh,
what am I?
Goodness.
Shunka is plus
30. 49.
Is a hit.
Yeah! And he's knocked down.
Oh, the tripping ability. Describe what Shunka did to make that happen.
Shunka,
I did say he was on the ground.
snarling, rushes over there,
Is he gonna knock
leaps
back
up and just he leaps up in between the generator's legs and just grabs him in the metal crotch, and just as he comes back
pulls
down
on the
through
lever
ground,
there.
he pulls the
The
generator down with
designers of
him.
Kurskin the Day decided to use foil that day. It'll make
And
him
that's
lighter.
3d8 plus 8.
Nice.
10d8.
3d8. Oh, 3d8. I wish it was 10d8. Shun could be doing a lot more.
Yeah,
Level
that was
9
huge,
d8.
though.
And it's piercing damage, so.
Okay.
Stand by. 1, 2,
Go Shunka.
13 plus 8 is 21.
Done.
21, and he is prone.
And drop. Huge, almost like bell gonging sound as it slams into the ground. And Sildren, anything else you got left going
Yes, and then Sildren is going to move the whirlwind then on top of the
on?
generator.
The tornado. So
Yeah.
he makes a reflex save. And that number is huge. We'll take 2 off. I don't think that's. I can't remember. It's either a 45 or a 47.
It's going to be the same. It's a success, but not critical.
Okay, so it's 15, 16, 25, and 33.
You're good for
So half
40,
that
10.
is 16 points of damage.
16.
Yep.
Got it. Takes a little bit of damage.
And then I believe. Oh shoot, that's 2. 1, 2, 3,
You would have to use pinch time,
Right.
which you haven't done yet, in order to get the 4th.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, we'll just end there.
Good. Piercy, last in the round. You're right next to this thing.
Yes, and see now that it's prone, Piercy probably still couldn't see over it, but since I ran on top of the mechanism, using either perception or recall knowledge, did the mechanism that Piercy ran on top of, does it look like a lever or
It looks like a crane that can automatically rotate left and right.
a crane? Okay, but there's no switch or I'm wondering if that's connected to these the gears and stuff on the ceiling. But since I'm right next to the creature, or the automaton rather, I will attack.
All right, give yourself +2 because it's flat-footed because it's knocked down.
+2 with a luck blade. That's acrobatics. Here we go. Jesus. 53.
53.
I'm sorry, hang on. 43.
That's a big difference.
Yes.
That is a miss.
Miss on the first. Try once again.
And the creature is starting to swirl around as it's going to pick itself up again, by the way.
That doesn't sound good.
Helicopter blade.
Yeah.
46.
46 is a hit.
46 is a hit. Okay, and it's 9 attack damage.
No, it's +9 +6. 15.
+9 +6 fire. Okay.
All right, you got a hit.
6.
What do we got?
Minimal damage. 5, 14 +6 fire.
Okay. And you got one more action?
I will. Piercy will recall knowledge on the creature. Looking for its. I guess.
Did you use your panache yet?
No. What does it do for me?
It gives you, allows you to do a finishing move.
Yeah, he's prone. Let's try it.
It's your last action. Might as well.
Which finisher? You have a couple, right?
I've got a few.
There's
one where you can aim the
For one part
finisher
of
at
the
a
body.
specific part to affect it in different ways. There's one.
Double rolls? Did you get that one?
No.
I have
There's the perfect finisher.
I don't know. What's that?
Impeccable assault. Make a strike. Roll the attack twice. You
Yeah.
get a better result.
So double roll.
Oh, okay.
Or the aimed one, which actually I kind of want to do.
And there's
'cause I'm right next to
confidence
his head.
or confident finisher where you get a hit no matter what.
Yeah, just keep in mind, this is your big missed attack penalty still on.
I'm just looking for all the words.
So double roll, go for some weird debilitating type concept or guaranteed damage even if you miss.
I do want to try the targeting finisher to debilitate the head.
All right, this will burn your
Affects his
panache. It'll expend
That's
it.
fine. So just a normal strike?
Yeah, normal roll.
With whatever your missed attack penalty is.
Oh, right. Jeez.
So it's like a plus 27,
25.
25.
Or +2, yeah, so 27. Oh, jeez. Okay. How about a 29?
That is a total miss.
Yeah.
And panache is consumed. You can get panache again by doing cool things and go for it. Swashbuckling things.
Yeah, Piercy's swiping and haberdashering away, not doing anything.
Haberdashering away. I love it. It is a new turn which causes the sizzling ground circles to move. We have one moving.
Oh my goodness.
We have one moving.
I was going to point that to Bali, but Bali's
one
in
moving.
trouble.
We have
So is
one
Piercy.
moving. We have one moving.
Oh, no.
Palik, you are first. Several of these circles have moved under some of our heroes.
The one down into my immediate left, if I'm in Palik's position, didn't seem to move. Were they all supposed to?
They all moved as necessary.
That was necessary. Palik is closing in to fill into that gap there.
Can Bleak get through that gap without getting burned?
Looks like it.
Yes. Also, willpower save to with all that penalty.
And that is a natural 20.
Oh, what is happening?
Hey!
Who's left? It's Piercy only. Wow.
Terrassing through everything, free of the burden, she approaches, and the head is closest, so she's just.
All right. You get +2 for it being prone.
Oh, I don't know that. I rolled this.
Which is already built into.
Yes.
So, you're good.
This is so scary. Here we go. And a +2?
No,
No, not a
that's
+2.
built into those numbers.
Built in. God, I can't do this high math. 51.
51 is a hit.
Nice.
And this is backstab goodness, right? Okay.
I laid it all out.
Yeah.
Like,
36, 49. What do we got? We got Superman. We got 59, 61. And if bleeding is possible, that'll happen later.
Yeah. Also, wasn't it supposed to be on fire for a while now?
well, I didn't call because it was from Yaru. Does that, even if Yaru falls, is it still?
Yeah,
taking
that
damage?
still applies.
So there's 2d10.
Probably that twice. So 2d10,
7
and it doesn't lose it.
and 14.
That was the last 2 rounds, and it still has it. 7 and 14. All right.
Yep.
This is 61 piercing.
Got
That's the
that.
first. Second attack is 46.
Is a hit.
Nice.
Palik tearing it up. Chunks of metal coming off its head.
14, 8, and that 57 piercing. 57.
And it's also bleeding. Is that correct?
And bleeding.
And now it'll be because you got another.
So does it
You'll
have?
another debilitating?
Is it bleeding? Is my question.
Yes.
All right. It is bleeding some sort of oil type goo. It can bleed.
Okay. So the first one was a persistent bleed. This attack is a persistent bleed. I don't know if they stack.
They
up
do
with
not.
it.
And that's
and that was it.
Okay.
Considering my move.
Master Yaru.
Master Yaru is going to kip up, dust his fur off a little. Not feeling great, but and is going to move in. As this thing is like on its ass, trying to pick itself back up. Yaru is going to jump in and put it in a headlock
Okay.
with the Titan wrestler and
Okay.
attempt to grapple.
All right. So that is grapple. Also keep in mind, you can certainly give this a shot. It's not just picking itself up. It's whirling its upper half of its body to flip itself into an upright position. As it starts doing this, you leap onto it and start grabbing for it.
It's
You
just
need,
the orb mech from Incredibles. It's just
yeah.
popping
You need
in,
to make
popping
an
out.
athletics roll, please.
Titan. I made him out of clay.
48.
I don't think you just succeeded. Wow. All right. So you have grappled the creature. The creature's grabbed until the end of your next turn unless you move or your target escapes. You can grapple a target you already have grabbed.
This is very good news for Yaru.
You can grapple a target you've already grabbed or restrained without having to have a hand free. Okay, so you have him grappled. Sorry, waiting for this webpage to move. Come on, webpage. We don't do grapple very often.
We don't.
Because it never works.
Yes.
Stand by.
Until we change character sheets. And then the grappling happens.
Grapple. Okay, if you don't forget, this is. Oh, you don't have. You can use it up on the. Drop the. Okay, but what the heck does it do?
Makes him flat-footed, right?
Why? I'm having trouble figuring this out for
Maybe
some
we're
reason.
at least in action, trying to get out of it.
Yeah. He has to either fight out of it or
Grabbed is what I'm looking for. You are held. You are flat-footed and immobilized is what's going to happen. So he cannot move out of that position and will continue to be flat-footed unless he gets out, escapes.
So he's restrained.
Not restrained. Restrained means you can't do certain actions.
Oh,
then.
he's grabbed.
restrained is like pinned to the ground.
Yeah, restrained's then
Grappled
a
is
whole
just-
different.
And as Yaru has this thing, like it's gonna do. He's gonna do a 1-inch punch.
Great. Right to the eyeball.
But what's he gonna whisper in its ear in the hole as he punches?
Just gonna try to whistle.
Alexa,
Say,
happy.
say uncle.
I like
That
Siri
might be
better.
good. 58.
58.
No, 48. 48.
48 is a hit.
I love it.
Big 1-inch punch.
43 bludgeoning.
43 bludgeoning.
39 bludgeoning, 4 fire.
He's all yours.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah. Yaru like grabs it like by the head like with one arm, and then the other arm just like pokes its eye. The head like collapses.
Dragon Ball Z style. Like
I could also see like you poke one eye, the other one pops out. It's like whack-a-mole with the eyes.
Yeah.
Great job. Master Yaru, gain a hero point for that, Master Yaru.
Wow.
You imploded it.
Nice. Big machine, steam erupts from it. Yaru, you leap off, and the machine collapses and falls apart into more pieces. However, the circles of heat on the ground continue to move, so you guys have to be wary and step aside and watch where they're going as you deal with whatever's going on here.
Ouchie, 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 ouchie.
No? Okay, never mind. Sildren will never mind.
Does there seem to be a pattern to their movement?
They seem, they seem to be random, yet slightly askewed towards you guys every so often. It's not totally random. Then all of a sudden, they'll slowly kind of gather towards you guys. Then it'll be random.
What's been the I know there's been a fight, but like, has it been random intervals that they move, or is it like on a timer? Is that I mean, Yaru is probably the wrong person to ask since he was on his ass part of the
story-wise, they're moving consistently.
Okay.
And there's a door.
Yep.
Of course,
Yeah. Let's...
And what are these 3 things to the east?
To the east, they are chutes that are bringing in water and dropping down water into the ground. The water pools underneath them, but then sometimes get caught by these burning circles and the water evaporates. Very humid in here.
Where
Okay.
Yaru has made a hole in this head, Palik would like to see if there's anything shiny in there to snatch out.
Okay. Palik, you think you see some sort of valuable gem-like thing that might be useful for someone who's a crafter. Make a crafting roll 38 to successfully get it out without destroying it.
Okay.
Either way, it's a win.
40.
You successfully pull out a nice red ruby that'll be worth 2,500 gold.
Wow.
Nice.
And then these things to the west?
Very impressed.
These 2, what are these, tables to the west?
Those are not tables. Those are vats.
Vats.
Like water heater type things that are being filled up and steam builds out of them.
Okay, so steam.
I do not like this room.
Yes, can we
should,
go?
Check these doors out.
Yeah, let's head towards that door. And we'll...
It's not good for my fur in here.
Wait for me.
What's happening with the 2 heroes that are stuck in these things?
Pierce is going to move out of the...
Yeah, you guys get out and they continually
Right,
move. You're not
immediately.
stuck in anything.
Patting himself with healer's gloves as he.
So you're fine. You got some wounded people, though, Bale, as you guys leave this room. And anything going on?
Yes. Come touch my hem.
Your
Still
what?
have my hem.
Your ham?
Hem.
I'll touch
I
your
have
hand.
a hem. Touch it.
Your ham?
A hem. It's
Like
It's-
pig butt?
Ahem.
I
He's
know.
trying to
I
get your
know what he's
attention.
it's a
saying.
turned garment inside my sleeve.
My thick ham bone.
It's a good nickname for you, Bali.
Reaches out to Yaru first.
Touch my head.
And then heals you with Vital Beacon at level 6. Which is not
60-10.
60-10.
Just
6, 10, 13, plus 4, 17,
Yeah, one more. Yep.
and 7.
24.
24. 100. No, it's yeah, 24 points of healing.
I mean, it's something.
Feel like you could have done better.
I mean, let me see the other side.
Now, let's be clear. Insults carry over.
Yeah, it doesn't start fresh. Except it's not Seth who's delivered them, it's Yaru that's delivered them for Alistair to deal with.
I'm not enough shit as it is, okay?
Bully grabs Yaru's other arm, looks at the elbow, grabs a dagger and goes stab, and cuts right into your elbow, dealing 1 whole point of bleeding damage.
Perfect. I'm not gonna write that down.
To give you 82, am I correct? 82 points of
No questions
battle
asked,
medicine.
no fuss, no muss. Boom.
A little bit of fuss. Tiny bit of fuss.
Yeah.
The screaming is no fuss.
Let's get out of here. Could have done this on the other side.
You guys scurry out of this hot, sweaty, sweltering, steamy room and leave the destroyed Titan behind.
Okay.
I'm wondering, after this battle, do you guys do you have any good appreciation of what the other players have been doing all
For
along?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I have 100% discounted this monk. And not anymore.
All right. Maybe we'll talk more in the after show about this. I'm very intrigued. Very
No
intrigued.
offense to that. It just was
I'm
not.
very happy to hear that. Thank you.
It was just not Seth's way of playing. And I have an appreciation.
All
It wasn't
right.
anything about how Alistair did it. It's just like monks.
Seth definitely
Yeah,
rolls
like-
better than Alistair.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a key.
So does Tim.
You guys go through a door and go through another long corridor before it ends at some steps with a big iron door that is locked, but locked from this side. You're able to move a big iron little gear type thing, and a beam slides into the wall, and the door opens up. Yaru normally has the lead, so I'm just assuming that by default.
Yeah.
Yaru then presses open the door, this big double door, iron, and it opens up into fresh night air. And you are in the proper city of Corindel, the part that is on the continent, large island of Azimere.
We are through the veil.
You are now within the golden magic dome that is surrounding this city. The city is made up of tons of very tall, thin spires, most of them blue, some of them purple. They are held together with strange segments. So it might be a 30-foot section and then a few spindly little supporting beams of stone, and then 60, 70, 80, 90 more feet that should not support it. Or maybe some strange architectural twisting connection bits. Some sections are completely not connected at all, but magic is holding these spires together for their unique architecture
Is
shapes.
the city familiar to Sildren?
Sildren knows of the city. Let me continue describing it, and then I'll get back to that. So the city is also based very, how would you describe it? Uniformly or well planned out. Good city planners, city engineers. So you guys have arrived in the central section, which is a circular area. There is the base of a floating island similar to the ones you had out on the ocean. That's directly overhead. There is another tall spire on that. That one is surrounded by a vertical oval dome, similar to the one you just came through. So it's extra protected. There are roads that span out in all directions. The roads are lined with flowers and trees, but they're all augmented, not naturally, but augmented with magic. So the trees have beautiful pink flowers that are constantly just falling down like it's, springtime or something, but there's always more that keep falling down and always more that keep falling down. The plants that are here smell extra beautiful, extra rich, maybe even to Sildren's nostrils, just too much, like artificial enhanced smells and scents. Everything's taken up a notch. That is nothing compared to what I'm about to describe to you, though. And that is, if you take this entire city, looking at it down from above, and separate it into 3 pie slices, if you will, each of those pie slices are completely consumed by something. What I mean by that, one of these sections, this is several dozen buildings, 30 buildings or spires or such in one direction, one slice of this third of the city is completely contained within a big wobbly blob of water. Hundreds of feet tall, completely consisting of water that's just held in place somehow and just wobbling. The buildings, the trees, everything's just floating within this water. It's very odd. There is another section of this that is completely consumed in a fire, a flame, hundreds of feet tall, massively wide, completely covering the buildings. You can barely see them, though, slightly through these translucent flames. Another section, you can't even see buildings at all. It is nothing but a black void that is filled with nothing but doors. Door after door after door after door after door of wooden doors. Something out of the Twilight Zone opening, if you will. Just tons, 100, 200 doors up in the air, down low, left, right, vertical, not. Just tons and tons of doors. The entire city is consumed in these three different, not necessarily elements, but consistencies, with the sole exception of the central park little area where you guys have come out of within this door. That is the city of Corindel, and we will take our break there. And we'll be back in just a little bit and see what happens next. All right, our heroes are in the center of the magical city of Corindel. Sildren had asked, is there anything that he knows about the area? Sildren, you are from this. You are from this small continent or large island called Azimere that the city is on. Mm-hmm. This continent is dominated by a forest, the Taladian, I think it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Forest that dominates it, and then on the southern section of this massive island, small continent, is the city of Corindel. Azimere is a place of magic. The whole place is. So you have the city, which is focused more on wizards and sorcerers and alchemists and more of the academic magic. And then in the northern section of the forest, Sildren, is where you're from, which is I'm looking at both Tim and Chris. The northern section, which is the most natural magic primal center of the entire world of Verenn. So there's a huge, massive grove of Keth there. Druids are trained there. There are big, impressive animals, massive, gorgeous trees, all sorts of wonderful things. So they have a bit of a relationship, a little bit, with the city of Corindel and the wizards. A little bit of respect there, but not total respect. Primarily because the woods that are just outside of Corindel are also part of this big forest, but they're much more corrupt. You will see weird homunculi and strange creatures and stuff that have come from the city with weird experiments that end up in the woods. Whereas the northern woods is the more natural, nicer woods.
Okay.
So that's what you know.
All right.
So what you see again are three distinct regions, not equal, not totally uniform, but three distinct regions within the city that are consumed by massive volumes of water with huge spires and buildings completely surrounded in water. Another one completely surrounded in a semi-translucent flame, of just vertical wall of flame surrounding this area. And then another area of everything's gone. It's just a black void with several hundred doors within it. And that is what you guys see.
Xander is kind of looking in awe, and then he's like, oh, I know this. And, the doors. That's the Guild of Doors. And then the fire, that's the Tempering Guild. And then the other one, I don't know why they're doing this. It's weird. I don't understand the correlation with the water, but it's they're diviners and historians, and that mean lady Callie Envero is part of it. She's mean.
So says Xander.
What is the Guild of Doors? There's a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses there.
They're into alteration and illusions.
So that's why we see nothing but doors. Just standing, just a bunch of doors. That's not. You're telling me that's an illusion, not a real thing.
I don't know. We'd have to look and find out.
Which one
And we're
will the
in
council
that
be
guild-
in?
We're in that part right now.
You're in a central, dead center of the city, a little mini park, if you will, of some ornate little benches, flowers that move in unison, swaying back and forth. There's fountains with little sparkly magic, not actual water. It's a little beautiful spot. You have an island above you that is surrounded in another golden dome above it of protection, and then you have these big regions around you. So you kind of have maybe a 100-yard diameter area of clear air that you're standing within.
And then there should be an assembly somewhere. Straight up. It's up there. We need to get there. That's where the assembly is.
How do we get there?
I know how I can get there.
Isn't it surrounded in another force field?
Okay, I don't know how we can get there.
So who do we talk to about getting there? You're supposed to know everything.
I just know the lore of this place. That's all. I've never been here, Sildren.
I'm not from the city. I'm from the enchanted forests.
Well, maybe they have a ladder.
Well, you've been here before, Sildren.
I've been through.
You've
There's
ever been up there?
no, I've never had a reason.
Does Palik still have time on her cloak?
It lasts forever. If you want it to.
Awesome. Palik begins soaring upward to check out this dome.
All right,
as
Palik
well.
soars up on wing bat
Yeah,
shapes,
they're like tiny bat wings.
like the cloak shakes the shape of
yeah.
wing. I gotcha.
But they're like, I mean, she's pretty small, but they're literally like the size
Like
of
little
a bat.
hummingbirds
Exactly.
going up. All right. Palik, you fly up, and as Palik goes up, Palik, you shield your eyes from a bright light, and you guys all shield your eyes, and swapping positions coming down on you guys rapidly is a being made of white light, a humanoid form flying straight down, passing Palik about 100 feet in altitude, racing down, and then around you guys, around your feet, white light appears and erupts in an explosion of light at your feet that seems to emanate from the hands of this being soaring down at you. I need all of you to make a basic reflex save of 40 or take 50 damage.
Wow.
Does this
Force
include
damage. Not Palik.
Not
Ooh, natural 1. Gonna re-roll that.
Reflex is
Anybody can
always
give me a
very
hero
good.
point.
Critical
I
success
will.
for Piercy.
All right.
I had 3.
Critical success for Yaru.
All right.
What do we have to roll?
Hey, what
40,
are you doing?
40.
Bali is also
Better than a
rolling
critical failure.
with a hero point because he rolled an 11. And then a 3. Critical failure for Bali.
Wally takes 100 points of force damage.
Sildren takes 50 points of damage.
Boom! There's a big explosion. Sildren gets hit. Bali gets thrown across this little garden area, whereas Yaru, what happened to Xander?
Nothing.
Yaru, Xander, and Piercy just stand there amongst it all, and are just totally.
Hey, stop! Stop!
totally
We're friends. We're the defenders.
The being stops.
Oh, defenders. Sorry.
That's the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
You're gonna take another 50, my friend.
Yeah. Those Proclaimers referenced twice in a row.
The being stops about 50 feet above you all when Xander says that. And it says, "You are trespassing in Corndale. No one is allowed within the barrier."
We have very important business. We have to talk to the council of Azimere as the defenders of the realm.
Make a diplomacy roll, please.
Ooh, my forte. I'm gonna use a hero point.
The first time he gets a good shot at it, and no.
Even
Piercy
worse.
is prepared to step in.
Fuck. 31.
31. There's another eruption at your feet. Everyone make reflex saving throw 40.
40.
Oh,
Natural 20 for Piercy.
33 for Xander.
Critical for Yaru.
Okay.
Bali rolled a 3. He's using his last hero points. Oh, please. That feels better. That is Ah, 42.
All right, you take half damage then, Bali.
39 for Sildren.
Oh, full damage for Sildren. 50 is the damage. Multiple people get hit, some do not. You are trespassing in Corindel. No one is allowed within the city barrier.
Elder Druid, how about you speak up now? Usually we don't have to ask you.
Actually, Piercy,
phone.
Piercy will give this a shot if Sildren's jaw is dropped.
What's Piercy gonna say?
Piercy has an ability called Shameless Request.
No.
So he's going to use that along with some charm and bon mot to speak to the being of light.
Shameless request. All right.
I can downplay the consequences or outrageousness of my request using sheer brazenness and charm, is what it says.
When you request something, all right. You're reducing it to making an outrage. Okay.
With some wit and bon mot, panache, kind of. I'm not actually Piercy, so I'm trying my best. Type of skills.
You're fine.
I will dance with it if I have to.
Role play. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Piercy, after dodging all the lights and beams, seeing everyone get hit. Wait. Sorry, V's. Wait. We are the defenders of Verenn. We are here. We destroyed the wavering sphere. There must not be any more harm come to us. We are here to defend you, to protect you. We are here, your friends. Everybody is happy. You can be happy and trust us.
Make a diplomacy roll.
Good luck.
Your DC, I like that, is actually going to be a 34.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good.
It's a good okay.
All right.
Okay. Close. That is, excuse me, 37.
With a 37, this being
Either 2 or higher.
this being of pure white light puts its arms down and slowly floats down and down and down betwixt all of you, landing in the middle.
As it hits the ground, Piercy will lower his tricorn in a kind of wavering flare, over-exaggerated manner. Piercy, Sir Piercy von Skeetenlever, at your pardon.
It does the same thing, trying to replicate your behavior, but removing its spherical-like head of white light and moving it down, and says, "I am OX." Palik is flying up and up and up.
He's flying up and up.
And as you keep flying, you just hear, no! You just keep going.
We're defenders.
They got it. You fly up and you see there's this island. It's the bottom side of an island that's essentially almost like dripping rock, but it's not actually falling, but it looks like little, I don't know, what do you say those were? Stalactites that are falling down almost like. And then there's dirt above that, and then there's grass and thick vines loosely hanging off the sides. And it's just enough to hold a very wide, say, 100-foot diameter spire that goes up and up even another 100 feet above that. And all of that is encased in a vertical sphere of yellow barrier, just like the one that's surrounding the city.
And you can't see through it.
You can barely see through it.
Barely see through it. Palik wants to approach and see what she can see through the sphere.
All right, you can see as you fly up next to it, you can see there is a door. There is a chiseled section above the door that says, for the protection of the arts, and then it says the assembly. And there is a magical door of bluish energy, but not a physical door. And that's all you see. There are some windows and such, but you can't see through them. You don't see any people.
Wow. Okay. Palik will descend back down to the party to relay such information.
Palik, you come back down and see the party is entertaining a guest of pure white light.
Well, what's all this then?
Palik? I'm sorry, I'm not. I was about to be Yara. Palik, please, do not take any hesitations. Oleg?
Right? What are we doing?
Your name is Ox?
That is incorrect. My name is OX.
OX. We We are technically trespassing, but we are here for a noble cause. All of Verenn is in dire trouble.
State your cause and your function.
Our cause is to save Verenn, and our function is to do it now.
State your name.
Yaru,
I do not recognize this name.
Master Yaru.
I do not recognize this name.
Strongest Avenger.
Yaru of the Three Winds.
I do not know this name.
Well, no.
Do you know my name's Xander?
You are a historian of Azimere, Xander.
Yes, you know me. Although I think you're not really sentient. Can I come up and bring my companions?
That is not allowed. By order of the guilds. By order of the assembly.
Can we speak to somebody who is not you? Please, thank you.
I didn't see anyone when I was up there.
There is no one I can bring you to. The guilds have isolated themselves.
When does the assembly meet?
The assembly has been shut down until further notice by agreement of the assembly. The guilds have isolated themselves.
Why have the guilds isolated themselves?
I am not privy to that information.
Is there a way to access one of the guilds or to speak with someone from there?
You would have to speak with the guilds yourselves.
Where do we do that?
At the guild halls.
Where are the guild halls?
And the being points to 3 different areas which are within roughly the middle of each of these huge sections of elemental type stuff. Water, fire, and black void doors.
Screw the fire. Not going near that.
What do you have against fire, honey?
Being burned. No, you're all fine with it being all fiery.
Well,
But
I thought you would be used to that by now.
The burning sensation?
yeah. Words about that.
They do not like what you two possibly.
It's hurting my soul. Just hurting my soul a little bit.
Well, you know. A little chlamydia never killed anybody.
Show title.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Are we free to move about these guilds? You have done or tried
Bless you.
to do damage to all of us. Will you continue to try and do damage?
I will not. The Azimere historian has free reign about the city for research purposes. Pointing to Xander.
Okay, Xander.
All right, let's go. Where do you guys want to go? We can go to the Guild of Eyes.
I think Xander would automatically know where he's going out of the 3 of these.
Where
You
to
give
go?
Xander a lot of credit.
City made of fire.
Well, I don't know about the doors, but can't you... I can't remember if it's Sildren or Xander, but can't one of you make us tingly to avoid pain from fire?
Kind of.
Might be a thing I can help with. I'm feeling a little woozy. Might need some healing myself.
We could go to the Guild of Eyes and maybe try and find Callie and Vero, even though she's really mean.
But she's an ally.
Mean ally, but yes.
Is it known,
Same thing
Xander?
said for Bleak.
Are these not all illusions? Is it just the doors? Perhaps the fire is not fire.
One way to find out.
What happened to XO or OX?
We
He's
talked him
standing there,
out
right?
of killing us. He's
Killed
allowed.
children.
Yeah, he's allowed Xander access because Xander's a Azimere historian.
Gotcha. Okay.
Xander, you're in charge here.
told us that the told us that the assembly has stopped meeting and we have to talk to the guilds ourselves.
Okay.
And
We have 3 side missions now. Not fun.
let's go see the Guild of Eyes. That's where Callie and Verenn may be. I think that's a good idea. Although I like the fire. It's hard to commit to that voice.
How do we know which door to choose?
This way. And then Xander will lead everybody towards the Guild of Eyes.
Okay.
The one that's not on fire and doesn't have all the doors.
The water area.
Sure.
Huge expanse of the city, completely surrounded in a massive glob of water, like a mile long and massive and huge and hundreds of feet tall. You approach, the group walks, doesn't take far because it's right up against the central clear hub that you guys are in of this park, and you're right up against this wobbly wall of water. What do you want to do?
I do not swim.
I only dog pedal.
So walking around, it's just a globe of water. There's no doors, nothing indicating an entrance.
Yeah, imagine a magical city of spires, gorgeous, beautiful, enhanced by magic, and then now has a massive section of water all surrounded, as though it were submerged in an ocean or something, but instead it's vertical in front of you.
Is looking through the water into the in that section of the city, is it kind of Atlantean in a way, or is it just like it's just kind of suddenly there's water everywhere now?
Suddenly. It's not been enhanced
So
in any
they're
way
not-
by water. There's no algae, there's no fish or anything like that. Good question.
Thank you.
I can make sure that we can all breathe just fine for the rest of the day. With the exception of one.
Palik.
And Palik is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bali casts water breathing on everybody at a 3rd level spell. So for 8 hours, up to 5 creatures can breathe underwater.
5 creatures, all right. So other than Palik, you said?
Other than Palik.
All right. So the
Bali, Yaru, Piercy, Sildren, and Xander.
can now start to gasp a bit and can breathe water, and all 5 of you flop on the ground like no, just kidding. You guys can all breathe water as you stand before this.
Xander will stick his hand out and
Your head is going to explode if you do that within the city. What are you doing?
and touch the wall of water.
All right. You touch the wall of water, and your hand is wet as you take it out, as though you reached down and touched a pond, except it's vertically in front of you.
Tentatively step into it.
You step in, and you have this strange sensation of normal walking and then strange buoyancy, and you are now floating somewhat within this water. You can look behind you and see your friends are standing there kind of blurry-eyed a little bit.
Thumbs up to everybody and then kind of swim on in.
That has got to be a very strange sensation if you think about it.
Yeah.
Especially getting out. You know? What if you're 5 feet up and are swimming out and then bonk? How does that work? All right, Xander starts swimming down an avenue.
Sildren follows.
Okay. One by one, the group follows, I'm assuming, unless anyone has anything else to do.
Grabbing each other's tails and stuff to hold on so they don't get lost.
And the
She has water breathing, or not water breathing, but like a
The breath.
breath control.
Yeah, breath
She
control.
has breath control. Okay.
I think.
Doesn't she have a cloak or something?
Sildren
Piercy
used
has breath control too.
Yeah, I think most of us do at this stage.
Okay. So those of you, so other than Palik, you do have to somewhat manage your breath a little bit, so you can't tarry forever. All right. The group is swimming and swimming. You swim past a small little amphitheater where they do plays or music. No one's there.
Using my Azimere lore, Where do I need to go to get into the guild hall?
You know exactly where to go, and
All
you're
right.
heading straight there. And that will expedite the group and make Palik not have to make any kind of breathing endurance style rolls. You head straight there. The group is going. You're actually able to go as the fish swims. You're able to go relatively straight.
As the wolf paddles.
Is this all like? So it's like we're underwater. Like if we try to talk, it's like being underwater. It's like,
Correct.
What was
Yep.
that?
That is
That was
correct.
Okay.
You
I can't handle.
That's better.
Echo.
Xander, you finally swim up towards this guild hall. It is ringed in. It's a circular, almost like Parthenon, if I'm saying that right. Architecture with a bunch of columns around the outside of it, and then connecting the columns at the top of them are circular rings. The circular architecture vibe is a big theme here for this guild, and there are doors that are big double doors that look to be made of gold that you are standing before.
Are we outside of the?
You are outside of these doors.
Are we outside of the water?
No, the water's surrounding the
So we're
building
really
entirely.
floating there.
Yep.
Okay. Go up to the doors and try and open them.
All right, you are able to
Yeah.
push the doors in. All the water goes.
And then there were 2 guilds left.
You push the door in, and you feel its actual normal air on the other side, and are able to carefully step out and drop a foot down into the ground. You are sopping wet. And the rest of your group comes through, with Piercy landing the most heroically easily, but Bali probably just falling out like a barrel and rolling on the ground for a bit.
Oh dear.
But a wet dwarf still looks better than a wet rat. So
Yes.
Beard.
Well, what about this cat?
Yeah.
Wet cats do not look good. Not at all. Like, wait, that's the size of my cat? Really? That's a rat.
But wait, there's the rat.
So skinny.
As you are all there shaking your fur or standing up, you see there are 3 people here wearing off-whitish robes with hoods over that look very cozy and comfortable, that are standing in a line before you, and each of them are holding 2 similar robes in their extended arms as well. And
Peep-a-die.
the one in the middle says, "Hello, welcome. We knew you would be here."
Well, you didn't really roll out the welcome wagon for us, did you?
"Perhaps these will keep you more comfortable," and extends you the robes.
But only 2 of us.
2 in each arm, 3 of them, 6
Oh,
total.
okay, gotcha. Copy that.
How many robes do you need
not
there,
question my
Xander?
hospitality.
Yaru will don that robe. Like, do the.
All right.
And don that robe.
Palik is checking the craftsmanship of the robe.
Nice.
Oh.
He's like, that's how you roleplay.
These robes are slightly different than theirs. They do not have special, not religious, but guild stature at all behind them with some small insignia or something that theirs do. They're more bland and plain. But I want this to sound cooler than it does magically. They're magically super absorbent. And it sounds pretty lame, but
I hold it out the door.
they're a wicking
They're
material.
brawny robes.
Yeah.
Constant prestidigitation on
Now
these
here's regular robes versus brawny robes. Yeah, so the water gets absorbed much more quickly as you put them on. So they do have
You get heavier as you go. It's just
a slightly magical effect to them.
oh, okay.
The one in the middle, the guild member in the middle says, "I am going to assume you are here to speak with Master Azimere."
Yes.
Right this way.
I assume he is the head of the assembly.
She is indeed.
She is.
Starting off real good.
The pronouns used by Master Azimere are she and her. And you are escorted through this guild hall. It is a big centrally located central room with this few alcoves. There are people that are sitting on large circular pillows, and they are in some chant with little soft little humming, singing, like, and they're all doing their own little thing, their eyes closed as though they're in some meditative state. There are about a dozen of them in a circle. Others are walking nearby. Some bring little decanters of water and glasses for you. I don't know if anyone's in the mood for water now, but they do bring it if you want it. And in the center is a woman also wearing one of these robes with slightly different embroidery to signify her as the master of this guild. She is an elf appears youngish age, but it's hard to tell with elves, and she nods as you approach. Welcome, defenders of Verenn. I had hoped to see you.
Thank you for your kindness and hosting us, Master Elmore.
And thank you for all of what you have done. I have seen much of which had been a failure you have turned into great success. Predictions of destruction you have turned into victory. And those of victory have turned into destruction.
I am glad to hear most of that. Then you know why we are here.
I have an idea that you are here to stop the master of the dead, Skordrunar, or you are here to destroy the great wizard, or you are here to defeat the Golden Warriors.
I would like to be able to say yes to all. We need to raise up an army if we are to defeat Skordrunar. We need to come up with a plan if we are to defeat the Onakrin. Some of our members have but days to live if we do not determine what to do.
This is unseen to me. Why are there days to live amongst you all?
Did you see that we have destroyed the Wavering Sphere?
I know not of this.
That is the task that we just completed. The Wavering Sphere has been destroyed, but in the process, 4 of our brave members have bestowed upon themselves a curse of sorts. If we do not agree to help the Onakrin, the people of gold, then they will die in the next 6 days.
Well,
6!
While I do not know the time, I have seen a future where several of the defenders die after being victorious. Several of them die mysteriously before being victorious. Perhaps this is what you speak.
I would like to see none of us die.
What is the purpose then of this Wavering Sphere? To trap you and curse you. I do not know of it.
The Wavering Sphere was set here to confuse the wizards of Azimere. To bring confusion and division upon the entire land of Verenn, actually. But most importantly, to confuse the magic of the wizards and witches.
And ill will.
While I cannot speak of confusion, we are certainly divided, as you say.
Is there a way that you believe that you can bring the division to an end so that we can work together and find some sort of victory among one or more of these outcomes?
Things have taken a turn of which the future I cannot predict, which is most disturbing to me, particularly around our city. And I cannot foresee what is to come. And I cannot see how we can bridge any gap with the other 2 guilds, particularly with the Guild of Eyes, for they are clearly keeping a close eye on their sage stones, and it has been my belief that they have been gathering information the last 5 years to be used against us, possibly the other guilds as well.
Wait, what guild are we in?
Sorry, Guild of Eyes. Did not say Guild of Eyes. Sorry.
It's like we're at the wrong place.
Sorry.
Doors? Temporary
You,
guild.
you,
Another guild.
You guys are at the Guild of Eyes. She says, the Sage Stones created by the Tempering Guild. Yes, there you go.
Do you believe the barriers that you've created to protect yourselves have also prevented you from being able to see beyond your realm?
In some ways, yes.
I urge you to take down these barriers.
I will not while these Sage Stones are still in existence.
Explain to me what these sage stones are.
They are used to house information, knowledge, history, magic, tales, and have been with the city for as long as all can remember. But it has become clear through my divinations that they have most likely been used for ill will by the Tempering Guild, and they are now holding secrets or historically altered facts about these other guilds in some ploy for the Tempering Guild to take control.
With all respect, do you think your divinations could have been affected by the Wavering Sphere? And that perhaps if you take a look within yourself or within the magic that you possess, that you might see a new reality?
No.
Okay.
You want to try it anyways?
Who is the guild master at the Tempering Guild?
The Guildmaster of the Tempering Guild is Master Foreline.
And what pronouns do they use?
She uses Master mostly.
I assume you are not on agreeable terms with this guildmaster.
We are in disagreeable terms.
Is there anybody in that guild that you are on terms with?
The guilds are cut off from us and will remain so until they come to reason.
Where is Callie and Vero?
Our valued guild member is no longer with us. And we also will not reconnect with the guilds until promises are made for her return.
She has been kidnapped?
She has been imprisoned
By whom?
by me and the rest of the assembly.
She's been imprisoned by you, but you need her return?
The assembly cannot meet, so she cannot be easily returned. But she violated the law, and so she has now been imprisoned.
What law did she violate?
The assembly created a law with the creation of the barrier around the city not long ago, and stated that no one was to leave the realm of Verenn, and only leaving the city would be allowed by permission of the assembly. Kelly and Vero not only left the city without permission, but left the realm of Verenn some time ago. She told me it was important with her visions. I told her that was not allowed and not a vision I spoke of, but she said she had to visit a place called the Oubliette some time ago.
I can tell you that the reason I am here standing before you now is because she was at the Oubliette and she aided in us in our escape.
Then I can tell you were the assembly to meet, which is not a possibility now, I would certainly be voting to get her returned.
We need to find a way for the assembly to meet then.
Are you in favor of the assembly meeting if terms and promises were made?
It is the only way to continue to progress, so yes.
What promises do you need personally?
I need the sage stones destroyed so that the history of our city is not contaminated by the Tempering Guild.
And what evidence would you need of the sage stones being destroyed?
I can sense when they are destroyed.
Well, that's easy then. Very good. Where are they?
They are contained within the Tempering Guild.
So if we go into the Tempering Guild, they'll be able to give them to us so that we can destroy them for you.
She smiles.
What if they don't want them destroyed?
That is where we are at now.
I prefer OX.
All right. Point me in the direction. Let's go smash some stones. I didn't really mean that.
Wait,
I apologize.
This character's taking a turn.
It's an inside joke.
Christopher bristled at that a little bit.
Let me tell you something, Stone Brother.
I could go for that. We could do that.
Are we going to the world? It's the fire, or
You're
you're still talking to this person?
So, Master Guild member Almaray, you're gonna let the whole of Verenn, all of it, is in danger, and you're bickering between guilds, and because of grievances. But the whole of Verenn is in danger, and you're going to let these grievances with the other guilds stand in the way of your defense of it and your ability to help the people of Verenn. When you have much power, you have much ability, but your infighting that you have with other powerful people preventing you from seeing outside of your own walls.
The land of Azimere and the city of Corindel is a place like no other, and an importance like no other. We are a central focus of magic and power.
And if Verenn falls, so will Azimere.
If Verenn falls, Azimere may survive and may be able to regrow Verenn.
This is why they put the Wavering Sphere here. They knew this is the most powerful place in all of the world. So, if we destroy it, this sends a signal to them that we are the most dangerous thing. You must trust us now.
You speak of things you do not know, and Azimere and Corindel must remain secure, even with the disagreements that we have. And you, as a historian of Azimere, should know that, Xander.
I do, and I know that as a citizen of Verenn, that it will fall if you will not aid it. And if Verenn falls, so does Azimere. And I know enough history about Azimere, and I know enough history about Scourgeonar and the fate that presides over this entire realm. If these differences can't be put aside, and your belief that Azimere will stand is wrong. You are wrong. It will be destroyed, and so will you. Choose well and wisely what you do. Xander's sort of done.
Is there any reaction?
And
I will
one
submit
last
writing.
thing.
Christopher has the floor. The Honorable Christopher has the floor.
Thank you. I do not yield my time. Just real quick, is there any other reaction while this impassioned speech is going on from the other guild member?
There is one in particular who is looking at... Who the hell are you? Sildren.
Aye.
And is making, not eye contact, because Sildren's oblivious, but is looking at Sildren with a quizzical look.
Palik, seeing the eye contact, shuffles over, sidesteps a bit to Sildren, and kind of tugs at his shirt tail, and just kind of nods him over to the individual who's staring at him.
Sildren looks that direction.
All right, you see a young man, a human guy in one of these white robes. He was kneeling on a cushion doing some mantra type thing, and now he has stopped and he is looking at you, Sildren, like trying to look at you, look through you, look beyond you.
He's been watching you a while.
And Sildren does not recognize him.
Nope.
Sildren approaches him.
Okay, you approach. He stands up as you approach and bows his head slightly.
Sildren bows back. Do I know you?
No, but I know you. I heard your words, I did. And I believe yes is the answer to your statement and question of the Master. And yes, there has been an effect upon us here in the guild. That is what I have seen.
Have you not shared this with Master Elmare?
I have in the past, and your question has rekindled it in my vision again in my mind. And I hope that I am wrong and that you are wrong, but that is what I have seen. And not all of our recollections or future predictions are true, but that does ring within me as true.
And what is your name?
My name is Eline.
Eli.
Mask.
What? What do your Twitters say? Eli.
No, I can't unhear it. Damn it.
I ask that you, for now, join us. Perhaps you can be a voice of reason.
Make a diplomacy roll 38. Sildren is not known for his diplomacy, or did he upgrade it, I think?
Upgraded it to be not completely
Okay, so I
pathetic.
only have to roll a 17.
All right. That's within reason.
That's a 6.
Is that good enough?
No.
Oh, okay. Sure. I must remain here, and I wish you well. For I have seen many horrible deaths for you all. He winces. You know, there's one in particular I gotta tell you. No.
No. Eline, may we meet again and
We will not.
You failed your roll. We're on a
There's
new
no-
path now.
There's no save and start over in this. There's no save points. Hopefully the day will come when the good visions that you've had will come to pass. In the meantime, we need to figure out how to get the assembly together.
And Mr. Almaray, you think about what we say. You think back weeks ago. You think to when you assembled these orbs, these domes to protect yourselves. Think of the reasons you did that. Think of all the things you have done since then. The cowering, the waiting, the nothing, the planning for eventualities. We will return with our news. I just lost the accent completely. We will return with our news.
Say it again one more time. Take 3.
We will return with our news.
There we go.
Please. And we hope that you have thought about what we say.
She says, Corindel does more for Verenn than you can all possibly know, and its safety is paramount above all others. But I do wish all of you well in your quests.
I think we presumably leave at that point.
Seem to be at an impasse.
All right, Pleat goes to the door. And back out into the water you go.
Now, there's a lot of shape of water with Xander under happening, them just getting breaths of oxygen.
What do you got going on, Xander? Where are you taking him?
We are gonna go to the Tempering Guild next.
Okay.
So the flames, the fire.
All right. And how are you going there? You want to go the short route, which goes directly from water to flame? Did you not think that was a possibility? Because that's a possibility.
I mean, I do, but
I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah. What's the other
From
route?
water to steam.
The other route would be going back
Out
out
of the
to the
water.
central hub, and then you're in air and figuring something else out.
How much longer does that take?
No, not much. Just how you want to do it.
That's what we'll do.
All right. You head out, and you guys plop back out into that central park area with the assembly building up above you on its island, and there you at. There you are.
Did we
There you
keep-
at?
There you at. There you
Did
at.
we keep the ropes?
You can keep the robes. They created air pockets as you swam. Super absorbent. Maximum absorbency, Captain. Can't hold
Well,
no
if they're
more.
super absorbed. Maybe we can get through the fire really quickly.
Steaming our way through.
Literally. and
Literally. I don't think I have another spell for fire breathing. It's
I think Sylvan does. No? Damn it. Well, it's not fire breathing, it's energy.
And
resistance.
Besides Xander, can anyone breach these flames? And Yaru will reach out, assuming that he can feel heat as he gets close.
Okay.
Does he? Without
Yeah, it starts to
touching
get
flame?
warm as you get close.
Just making sure it's not like a
Yeah,
magical.
you did say
effect
it's
or
kind of
something.
translucent.
Yeah.
You know.
You can see some shapes of buildings beyond, yes.
And how deep is this fire? Like to
Massive, multiple blocks.
It's like the same as the water, and it is fire,
Mhm.
not just a wall of fire. Jeez.
So, I can get there. I can't help everybody else.
picturing Xander's eyes was so big.
Yeah.
My people.
I'm gonna make a house here. I'm gonna be a house here.
Towards the fire.
Is that a 20 or a 1 they rolled for the spell?
What if we double down on our efforts here, and Xander goes
Mhm.
in there, and the rest of us go kick in some doors?
Okay.
We're going to need to talk to all 3 guilds.
Sure. That sounds
What if he
good.
says the wrong thing? You know, Xander.
I always say the right thing,
You say a lot of things. Is the
and they're
problem?
all right.
I'm not sure we have another choice
playing
but
this just
to
right. Keep going. You're doing it
but
right.
to let unless once Xander gets there, can figure out a way for the rest of us to follow.
I can
It
ask.
feels impossible to breach that fire.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I can go.
Remember the stones.
Huh? What stones?
The sage stones. The sage stones. The whole reason that the guilds are separate.
Polly, do you know of any lore of these stones? Have you ever heard? You know rock? Have you ever heard of these stones? What
Well,
do you
she-
know of them?
I know that stones have a great memory. And she described that the stones keep the history. And they keep the knowledge of all of Corendelle and perhaps Azimere.
Are stones known to lie?
I've never known a stone to lie.
That is what she was saying.
She was saying a lot of things, but I don't believe that she knows everything she was talking about. If a stone holds memory, it's a true memory.
I'd give you a hero point.
Gain a hero point.
Is that all it takes?
And
deserves a hero point too.
and everyone but Christopher gains a hero point to give to their respective shifted person when they feel the time is warranted.
Oh.
But it must be warranted.
Okay.
Good luck.
Does Bali think going underneath the stone, like underground, would avoid this fire? I'm asking you specifically, Jerry.
There's a lot of things I can do. I could even drop into the stone, but I don't know the fire magic around here, and I wouldn't tell you that I'd try it.
I was thinking of more than one of us away for multiple people to get there without getting hurt.
I don't tunnel like a rabbit.
I'm not even sure about this black void of doors. I think we'll get hurt either
It's
way.
more promising than a
Yeah.
city of fire.
For sanity.
I give that.
So, is that our plan then?
Unless anyone has a greater idea.
We could all go to the other place first and then see if we can, what we can do there before we come to the fireplace.
Yeah, we didn't even ask them about the doors. Well,
But then we still have the fire to worry about. You're the only one that can handle that.
Right. But maybe we find out
Time.
information that'll help.
Time is of the essence. And we can... Oh, can Xander and Yaru still
Mhm.
communicate?
Mm-hmm.
And
As long as you're on the same plane.
any information we need to glean.
All right. Let's do it.
That's a don't say anything stupid Xander
Xander
buffer.
just-
You gotta be a dragon first.
Xander forgets to cast a spell and runs in. Is that what that sound was?
Leaps right into the fires.
Mistakes were made! Why is this not a cantrip?
Xander will cast Fiery Body
All right, shoo, you turn into a fiery gnome
and enter into the fire.
and can fly right through and can beeline it straight towards the Tempering Guild. You're going avenue after avenue, dodging and weaving between spires through some gaps between spires, and just the one thought through your head was, oh yeah, they wouldn't have made this. And you just keep going and keep going, keep going, and you approach the guild, which is surrounded by it's a
Fire?
yeah, true. And it is made up of blocky, more tower shapes, so more rectangular shapes that are all roughly attached. And it has several big cylinders, maybe just 3 feet in diameter, but 12 feet tall, that surround it, that glow even hotter than the fire that's all around them. And you head towards those doors. Meanwhile, what were the rest of you doing?
We're going towards the void section.
All right.
The doors.
You're at this big section of black voidness. There are several doors, perhaps 7, that are roughly reachable within hand's reach from your normal ground that you're at. Everything else is just a strange black void of nothingness. Beyond are other doors. Beyond that are other doors. Up above are tons of doors. Down below at all different angles and altitudes.
This isn't going to go well.
After you.
Doors. Doors with locks?
Yeah, exactly.
Palik starts checking out one of the doors for its locking mechanism, seeing if the door is viable, if it's an actual door or just some weird hologram.
The door opens.
And does anything appear beyond it?
You see nothing but blackness beyond it.
Well, let's open.
Bolly looks through the door. There's magical blackness that he has. He has a vision that allows him to see the greater dark vision.
What does that do?
I can see in darkness and dim light, including magical darkness.
You can see beyond that door is another door about 50 feet at a strange angle.
Everyone hold hands. Follow me. And Bolly will walk through if everyone holds hands.
Okay, Sildren grabs Bolly's hand.
Okay.
We'll hold hands.
Yeah.
You do so, Bolly. As you step through, you immediately fall. And several of you hear a yelping sound from the right, and maybe a half a mile off in the distance, you can see an open door with Bolly falling out with Yaru's hand holding onto him and him swinging out there into the void.
Okay.
Pull me back. Pull me back.
Heave ho!
Pull him back in. Piercy will go to another door and knock.
Okay. You knock, there is no answer. But there is a response to the door that you opened, Xander, as you are at the Tempering Guild. You opened the door there, and as you arrive flamingly and come into this, you close the door behind you. You're now in a normal space, but you are on fire. There are two members of the guild, young halfling wizards, who immediately blast this intruder with beams of flame. And it's just lighting you up with lots of flame. That does supercharged. That does absolutely nothing to you, and they're continuing going.
Wait, stop.
And then they stop.
Thank you. That tickled. I'm Xander, Defender of the Realm. And then I will remember I'm still in a fiery form and then unfire myself.
All right.
Hello, Peepa Die. I'm Xander, Defender of the Realm. I am here to speak with Master Fourline.
What? I don't know who you are. You're not supposed. And the other one says, yeah, but how did he get in then? He's not supposed to be here.
Exactly. That is a great question. And I am here to see Master Fourline.
Thanks. He seems proud that he asked a good question. All right.
Good job. Good job.
Come this way.
What's your name?
Damn it.
That's a really weird name.
Is that 2 M's?
My name is Ill Eights.
Ill eights.
Ill Eights.
Is that tattooed on your neck? Like... Do you have a motorcycle?
The House of Crowsoft.
Nature Guild. And he says, come this way. And they take you through this guild house, through a couple of these towers where there are different, tends to be younger wizards here in training that are blasting fire, blasting flame.
Job. Nice one.
Some look
Keep
at you.
up the good work.
They're confused to see a stranger here. Some are working and...
Or am I doing good?
Never enough. Some of which are infusing flame into one of those big rods I was telling you about that's on the ground, and they're infusing
let me
it.
show you a trick.
And you are finally brought before a sweaty and soot-covered dwarf, a lady, and the young guy, Ill Eights says...
It's getting worse and worse.
Says, Master Fourline, this stranger arrived, and he's very fiery, and he knows lots of things. And this dwarven lady wipes soot from her eyes as she's working on one of these rods, and says, "Who are you?"
Peepa Die. I am Xander, Defender of the Realm, Master Historian, and Knower of Things of Azimere.
I've heard of you.
Yes, you have. That is, yes.
Ever since you selected that feat about 2 levels ago, I heard of you. Don't ask why, since you've never even been here before.
As one does.
Oh, you're Xander.
Yes. Hello. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
How are you here? She says gruffly.
I can't. I wasn't here, and then now I'm here. I'm a master sorcerer, so it was no feat for me to get in here.
She wipes off her face with a cloth and gets some water and offers you some.
Oh, thank you. Very kind.
Then why are you here? We're pretty busy here.
Yes. Do you know what the Wavering Sphere is? Have you heard of that?
No.
Scorchinar. Familiar with Scorchinar?
I've heard the name.
Very good. Honorcrin. Do you know the Honorcrin?
No.
No. Okay. Jeez. Well, this is gonna be a long story. So a long time ago, we went from Edlin home, and then things started to happen, and lots of bad things. Undead armies is coming up out of nowhere. Scorchinar, the Silent Fate, he's coming back, He's really like on a roll. He's coming for us. There's an Onakrin. They're from a different realm completely. Really weird realm. Don't like them at all. 11 span, not a good place. Don't go there. And so then we're fighting them as well. They're fighting us. They're coming. They're trying to take over all of Verenn. We don't like that. We want them to be gone. Scourgenar's people are coming down from, not people, undead, just nasty, nasty undead. They're coming down to the south. The Onakrin have attached some sort of weird device to us. We're all going to die in 6 days unless we manage to bring them in here. We need your help. But you guys are all fighting with each other, and Verenn's about ready to fall apart and be destroyed while you guys are fighting. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, hero point.
Thank you.
Good call.
How do you think Xander's doing?
All right, that's a good point. So Piercy just says that as you guys are trying to figure out what to do.
Another door.
Piercy knocked on the door, waiting for
Door by door.
No answer.
waiting for them to pull him back in, and then once he's clear, he'll go ahead and open the door.
The door opens. You see nothing but blackness beyond.
Blackness beyond.
Bully looks through
Not
again.
clear, and we see another door.
Molly, you look through. You can see there is
that's right.
another door
That's a
beyond.
weird angle.
Weird angle, about 40 feet away.
It's more of the same. Doors to doors.
I'll let you do this.
Can Sylvan, if he uses no direction?
Sense direction.
Sense direction.
Yeah, no direction.
Sylvan wants to. Is that a cantrip?
Yeah.
So Sylvan wants to kind of cast sense direction to see if that brings any sort of clarity to where we need to be going or what doors go where.
It does not, unless you go through and get lost to where you're at. It might point you in the right direction. Seth's shaking his head.
That's something Piercy would do.
Uh-huh.
Well, do you want Piercy to do that?
No.
Customary to doors, does there appear to be any knocker or
Knocker.
Are all the doors the
Bell or
same?
All the doors look identical. Maybe make a perception roll.
Oh, you use a hero point because I rolled a 7. That's a little bit better. 37.
37. You see there are slight discolorations on some of the doors, but you're not sure why. The paint on, they all look very similar, but on the top of each of the door, there's some slight different discolorations that are not uniform. So they're not exactly the same.
And is it just a pretty plain, flush door?
Yep. With the door frame.
Yeah. I mean, I could nerd out asking you questions.
Says
That would
door
probably-
expert Seth.
That would probably just annoy you.
Seth has door lore in real life.
Real life.
This needs a good shim.
That's something else.
Uh-oh. My
Oh,
lore is
he was on
apparently-
it.
Yeah,
I
I know.
almost, borderline almost got a hero point.
For door knowledge.
door knowledge?
Bolly, Piercy,
Wait,
Yaru.
so-
What do you guys
So
want to
between
do?
the two doors that we looked in,
Uh-huh.
are they the same? Do they look the same? As one of them slightly discolored than the other?
Yes.
Only we had some sort of true sights. A way of seeing which one is a real door versus a illusion door.
Yeah, I can do my maze thing, but I'd have to
You
be
mean
like
something
inside
like an
of it.
augury ability? If one could augur.
Actually,
Like a headband of inspired wisdom?
Yeah, something like that.
seeing, is that an available spell for Bali? True seeing?
Uh,
There are certain ones that I know I'm not able to use.
true seeing does not have any unusualness to it. Yeah, it's a level 6 spell. You would need to
Augury's more kind of like a yes or no.
you need to rest to add that to your spell list unless you have some special ability of adaption. I don't know if Bolly took that or not.
I don't think so. All right.
To be prepared.
Back to Xander then, while you guys think on things. You let loose all this information.
I have more.
No,
You
no,
want
that's
more?
fine. That's fine.
And we got to get a bunch of messages, and I can go on.
No, no, that's fine. I still don't see what this has to do with my guild.
Oh. Well. So we need your help. We need the help of all of the guilds. They need to work together to help this great evil that has befallen Verenn. We'll destroy Verenn if it's not stopped, and then destroy Azimere. I know you guys are real tough. You're great. You got all sorts of powers. You're wonderful. We don't know anything about Azimere. It's still going to be destroyed. Trust me. Just like it was before.
You are ornery and annoying. I like that.
You don't have to tell me.
Years of practice.
Well, this city, as you said, is very important, and we cannot deal with these guilds with their ridiculous requirements, demands of us.
Look, so there was this thing called the Wavering Sphere. It was affecting everybody's mind, and we just destroyed it. It might take a little while for you to get like your mind back in order, but I need you to start kind of thinking about these things because I know your problems seem very important to you. Very important. Very important.
south real quick.
But
He
there's
pats her on the head reassuringly.
Is there a patronizing skill?
These are pretty big problems for a dwarf, huh?
Reining in effectively.
Speaking of patronizing, patreon.com/Inglorious Bards to support the show. We appreciate every
I worked
bit.
that in just to plug it.
Yeah.
And I know these are really big problems, but Verenn really needs your help. And I know this is probably a sore subject, but we need to talk about the Sage Stones.
The Sage Stones. It's the fire rods are what mattered. They want them dismantled. The whole city would be defenseless then.
Wait, the fire rods? Wait, are they tied into the Sage Stones?
No. Aren't you supposed to know this city?
I do know a lot.
We
But
built
there's-
this city.
Getting hero points. That's Xander right there. Absolutely.
Hot flame and water.
So you don't care about the Sage Stones? They're fine. I'll take them. We can destroy them.
That's what I heard.
And then the Guild of Eyes will come and they will work with you then.
You will in no way be destroying the Sage Stones, let alone touching the Sage Stones, let alone seeing the Sage Stones.
Okay.
They are important to the history of this city. We have created them and we will maintain them without the aid of the other guilds.
Well, and that's fine, except, okay. How about this? Maybe we can get the Guild of Eyes to come check out those Sage Stones, confirm that because they think you've done some weird stuff to it, and it's the Wavering Sphere. It's not you guys. It's not them. The Wavering Sphere is this big
We have
thing.
done nothing to the Sage Stones
I know that. I know that.
except track their accusations, their unfounded accusations.
I know that. You know that. We just need to get them to know that, and that's fine. And the Wavering Sphere, that's the root of it all. But it's gone now. Your mind's going to start to feel less bad.
Really?
and
Because it's pretty bad ever since you came through my door.
you're going to find more trust in your fellow guild members again. You're going to stop this infighting. Everything's going to be great. And you just need a little bit of time. But in the meantime, we really need to kind of convince the Guild of Eyes that you haven't done anything to this. As you haven't. You haven't done anything to these stones, and that's great. Nobody wanted anything done to the stones. They haven't been done to them. That's great. That's wonderful. We just need to talk to the Guild of Eyes about that, get them to understand that. They'll work with you. I have the other defenders of the realm are over talking to the other guild. We're going to get everybody together. The assembly's going to meet. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to get Callie and Varro released. It's just going to be harmony and wonder.
You are a fool.
Yeah,
An optimistic fool.
that I am.
The barrier must be maintained around the city at all costs, as well as the fire rods, and we will not agree to any capitulation towards that. And these other foolish guilds demand it, and now are demanding the destruction of the stones.
No. I'm not asking for capitulation. Nobody wants your capitulation. Nobody's looking for capitulation
Especially
here.
not in the ranch dressing.
Yum.
Yum. And but we all just need to work together because Verenn is in danger. Won't you at least just meet, and we can all I will be happy to be a mediator there and help everybody get along and we can all meet and talk about things and work out our differences and then get the council together and then save Verenn. Don't you want to save? You want to save Verenn? You want to save Verenn, right?
Fine.
Who wants to save Verenn?
Fine, I'll meet, but it won't do any good.
That's fine.
Make a diplomacy roll, Xander.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
It's a 1.
28, 38, 45.
Perhaps this might work after all, but I doubt it.
You're wonderful. And Xander will give him a hug.
Her.
You just lost the diplomacy.
She keeps you at bay. Ah!
Okay. Too soon. I get it.
Our other 5 friends are still facing this void of doors.
Did you try that one?
Molly, always there to help.
This one we've opened 5 times already. Yes.
How about that one? Did you try that one?
Oh no, I missed that one.
So this is also just a black, not dome, but it's as far as we can see.
Yes, and it actually goes below what the city is as well. Yes.
Are there doors in 3 dimensions?
Yes.
It's not just eye level.
Correct.
What about those doors? Do they look different, bigger, smaller?
From here, they look the same. All 200 or so identical doors. And who do we have there? We have Piercy, Yaru, Palik,
And
Bali, and Sildren. Got it. Okay, just trying to keep track of it.
One idea, but I have to be inside the door to do it. But it's probably going to kick me out just the
I will
same.
hold on to her tail.
Yeah, I have a maze ability. That's about it.
Doesn't
Warren
maze
Navigator.
create a maze?
No, he has Warren Navigator.
I can
Right.
immediately find my way in a maze, or when I sense direction or attempt to roll against a maze spell, I get a result 1 degree of success better than I rolled. I do not take a penalty when I lack a compass. Yeah, that's all it says. That's kind of all I've got. And a messenger's ring.
What would you like to try?
I know it's a wild idea, but perhaps if one of us just walks through a door. I tried that once, but you were holding me hand.
I usually say after you, but now I will go first.
And Yaru will hand you a rope.
It
One
will...
end of the rope.
Oh, rope. I thought you said one of the robes.
No. Rope.
Rope.
You get
Rope.
I'm one of the Azimere Council. Yeah, okay. I'll tie it around my waist and go into the door.
All right, you open one of the 7 doors and step through, and Yaru, your hands burn as the rope gets torn through them. As Piercy, you fall from a exit door that is vertically put up half a mile away up high, and you just hear Piercy yelling in the distance as he falls. And Piercy, you go falling down. Do you have anything like an aerobatics mastery or anything like
I
that?
am an
His
aerobatics
catfall, he's
master.
legendary with catfall.
I mean, I could say it if you want.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have aerobatics mastery. I've got
Really?
catfall. I have daredevil boots.
Aerobatics mastery will just give it to you automatically. You are able to glide and shift before before Yaru can hold tight, and you're able to angle and land painfully on a door. But for you, you land it with ease with catfall, and you are on another door. You start to look around, and you have a sense that there is some sort of order to this, but you can't quite make it out. It is somewhat of a three-dimensional wizardry maze. Make a survival roll. Your target number is 35.
Okay, I will use my Warren Navigator ability. I get a, what is it, +2, it says?
It's for using your smell.
Or roll against a maze spell.
No,
Not a maze spell.
you're able to do this because the more navigator's already been kicked in. There's no additional
okay.
bonus.
Oh, okay, sorry. What roll was it again?
Survival roll,
Survival.
please.
20. I'm going to use a Charmed Life, not a hero point.
All right, that gives you a
to-
reroll.
To reroll. Oh, great roll. How about a 37?
37 is enough. You start to see, wait, you open this door, you put your hand through, you look around, you see it come out somewhere else. You then tell Yaru to hold on. You get a running start and swing out over like time bandits to another door. You land on that one, open up, and you start to see how these strange little marks of discolored painting on the doors slowly start to make some sort of sense as the shapes change. It's like some weird code, and you go from door to door to door to door, and you have Palik and Sildren just watching in weird awe as throughout this multi-mile wide volume of space, there's just rope going from area to area to area, and it's about 50 feet of rope. Is that right?
Not anymore.
There reaches a point, though, where the rope is going to need to be let go.
Who else has a Piercy?
Yes!
Yeah.
I'm right above him. Yes!
Children, give me a rope. Tie it to this end.
Sildren, yeah, we do
So
it.
now we have 100 feet.
All
of
right,
rope.
and
We're
you-
not on the rope.
I think it's going to be more than 100 feet
It's
away to
gonna
get
be
to this
more
place.
than 100 feet.
Yeah.
We'll keep adding rope. Throw out all your rope.
Oh, we have our robes now.
So we have about 500 feet or so.
I don't carry anything. I have a. Why is everyone looking at me?
Rope is
get on it.
attached.
Yeah. We have at least 150 feet.
And you land on a door that is horizontal. Your feet are on it. You straddle the frame, and this is Piercy. You straddle the frame, open the door, and see there is a hallway that you are straddling in a weird vertical, but it's horizontal to that room.
This one was definitely big enough for both of them. Let's go. And he'll just kind of like fall into.
You go inside.
the
It's
hallway.
weird, and for like the first time ever, you do not land correctly on your feet, and you take 1 point of shame bludgeoning damage because the weird twisting of gravity throws it all to whack. But you have now arrived in the guild hall of the Guild of Doors. The rest of you can see this long, extended, weird, random string of rope going from door to door to door to weird portal-like effects.
I'll give it a tug to let them know.
Yeah, Yaru will.
Can we just kind of
I'll also give the rope a tug to
skip
let
to
them
the
know.
Yeah.
to the door that we need to go to?
Yes, that's just
Yeah,
around.
it's the
just down
second one on the
way.
left. It's 3 doors down. It's that way.
It was door number 7.
There's 5 of us.
Yeah, you were able to go down a little bit and just leap about 5 feet to the open door that he found, and you were able to go down in. But he went through the process and got
You
it.
just open a door twice, and it's actually there.
No? That's pretty great.
Yeah, you can have a hero point.
Hero point for Piercy.
Thank you, Seth. I appreciate it. Thank you, Seth.
And you guys have
Force
arrived.
feeding me hero points over here.
You arrive at the guild. This is a corridor that goes on and on and on and on. It has more of these doors every 10 feet, or door after door after door of these.
Sildren opens one.
Okay.
To peek.
You open one, and it is a door that is about 15 feet above a swamp filled with weird giant eels that are screeching and reaching up with their little mouths trying to get at you.
I see the Princess Bride, but I shut the door.
Shut the door. The door is closed.
ROUSs.
There are footsteps, and a man approaches. He is a human guy with a beaky nose and a pointed face. He looks rather thin, but walks quickly, and says, "What is this? Who are you?"
Well, we are the defenders.
That means nothing to me.
It will.
I am Elder Druid Sildren.
The pause 3.
Those aren't the magic words.
You are the Elder Druid.
Yes.
He looks you over closely. He casts a spell on you. I'm pleased to meet your acquaintance somewhat.
And you are?
I'm Master Dagwin.
Master Dagwin.
I knew your predecessor well. Did not agree with him on many things, and I expect the same from the likes of you.
How's Blondie doing?
Well,
let's wait a second.
Me too.
I don't know if we'll get to that today or not. We need to call an assembly.
Call the assembly?
We need to talk to the guildmaster of your guild.
Who do you think you're speaking to? And I don't mean that annoyingly as it sounds in my voice. I am Master Dagwin.
Very good.
3-second pause. Is that what we're doing?
Isn't that the way we
I
introduce
thought
ourselves
that's what
now?
we're doing now. Is this the thing?
There's a
The
cue
new
card
custom.
off screen.
Yeah.
I am Master Dagwin.
It's a colloquialism of Azimere.
Can't wait till we have the final confrontation with Scourgeonar.
I am Scourgeonar.
You know how hard,
Line.
how hard it is for Xander to hold on for 3 seconds to talk.
We are the defenders of the realm, and
I don't care. What is going on here, Elder Druid?
Well,
A gathering? I don't see what this purpose is. And why haven't you been here already? Your place is here, within your grove. Where have you been all this time?
I have been defending Verenn from the undead, from Scourgeonar, from dragons, from all kinds of evils, from the Anacrin, from beings of different planes that you can't even fathom.
Nah. That's my best line of the night.
That's a title.
So much in that. Disappointment. I'm sensing.
Oh, God, you're about to make me cry. Whew.
You were saying, yeah.
So just thrown off. It's just completely broken. I had a speech and everything. Oh. The Elder Druid, damn it.
Dagwin, how was work today? Stupid elder druid came in. He's not even that old.
Oh.
I don't know why I enjoy that so much.
He's gone.
Hours of planning.
The impressive master scene is ruined. From half a syllable.
That was a nat 1 on your roll right there.
What did you guys want? Yeah, you guys.
Whew.
All right.
You were saying?
We are defenders of Verenn.
I don't care. I'm talking to him.
As my cohort is trying to explain to you, we are the defenders of Verenn.
Yes, attacking things and the undead. You said that.
We are here to bring together the assembly. There's business that needs to be attended to.
The assembly is no more as far as I'm concerned.
Change your concern.
How dare you speak to me like that? You know nothing of what's been going on here.
As you know nothing of what's been going on outside of here.
That is true.
Yeah.
He does not come socially prepared.
Have we invented Asperger's?
I want that to be that character's like hamburger. Oh, you come here, yeah.
If
The guilds refuse to remove the barrier around the city that prevents us from understanding these enemies you speak of, and they prevent us from using our greatest abilities,
which are
moving within the realm. The barrier prevents all of that, and they refuse. And then we have the fire rods that could be turned against us at any moment. The moment the Tempering Guild decides to take over everything within the city, there's nothing stopping them. Why would we get the assembly back then? They are greedy, power hungry.
How long have your guilds been at odds?
Seems like forever, but it's gotten more and more heated with their ridiculous demands.
How long? I need you to think about this answer.
Long enough.
Week? Month?
I'm not going to play these games.
It's important.
A month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
We're dealing with days here, man.
You just need to walk
We've
over.
only been adventuring
No
for
longer than
6
that.
or 3 weeks.
We need to find a common reason for the guilds to come together. Be it the survival of Azimere when the rest of Verenn falls, because that's what will happen if we don't take action soon. The rest of Verenn is out there fighting undead, fighting evils that have been asleep for 1,000 years.
I do not wish many allies and many wizards throughout Verenn to suffer dire fates. That is certain.
That's what is happening.
And what would the value be then? We get together and turn on each other moments later? Why? Why? How does this help you? Why
Get
are you so...
together and find a common reason to stop the silly strife between the guilds. It started because of the Wavering Spear, which we have now destroyed.
I don't care or know about that.
I know you don't, but I do. I'm sharing this knowledge with you so that you can have some understanding and perhaps make some wise decisions. Since you can't see beyond your own protective shield around the city now.
Are you being literal?
And figurative. I offer you some information and insight that you don't have.
And what else do you offer me?
I offer you a chance to bring the city together again, to bring Corindel together again, the guilds together again, and to fully realize the power that you have to protect Verenn. But right now, Verenn is dying, and you are doing nothing about it.
He shifts uncomfortably with his arms crossed.
As he does that, Piercy will acknowledge the robes that Palik is kind of looking at in Flessin, and he'll say, "You doubt the other master's ability to reason, but we have just come from one of them. They offer us ability to talk. We send our brother Xander to talk with the other ones in the fire realm. We come here now desperate in the last hours of some of our lives. And he kind of points to Yaru's kind of upper arm where the ring has
melded
faded
in,
into and left a mark.
Yaru's also gonna step
Or on
away.
his tail, rather. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, please.
And affix the Magenor's eyepiece and like doo. Xander.
Who dis?
New eye, who did?
You know who this is. We have found our way to the what's the third guild?
Guild doors.
Guild
Go to doors?
Guild of Doors.
You're the
Why?
door guy.
Yeah.
Door guy?
And we are in talks. They are seemingly being a little obtuse. And they mentioned that the Guild of Temperance has something called fire rods that they are scared of.
Yep, that makes sense.
What else have you gotten? What information have you gotten?
Oh, Tempering Guild fully on board. They're gonna no problems whatsoever. It's gonna be easy. Piece of cake.
Taking the
Love
hero
it.
point back.
He's surrounded by half a dozen guys going,
Master Fräulein is willing to talk to the other guild members.
Okay.
And I'm on my way.
You might have some trouble.
It's no problem.
We will speak soon. And then Yaru will go over and relay the information to our elder druid.
Sildren, all right? That's whispered into your ear, Sildren.
Okay. I have confirmation that the guild tempering guild.
Yep.
Tempering Guild.
The tempering guild would like to talk.
Then perhaps they've seen reason.
Perhaps they have.
I do this not because I have hope for them and their reason. I do this out of respect for your position and your position only. But this will fail. Make a diplomacy roll. Make a diplomacy roll.
It's both the character and
That's a 37.
Whoa, nice.
But this may fail.
It may, but if we don't try, it will.
Then come with me.
After you.
He
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a fucking minute!
Shumga's ready to pounce.
Need a line read.
He then opens up another one of these dozens and dozens of doors on this corridor, which opens up back easily into the central courtyard. At the same time, Xander, you leave the Tempering Guild, and the Dwarven Guildmaster, she casts a spell and parts, like Moses the water, parts fire to create a tunnel of normal air through towards the central courtyard as
Can you
well.
show me how to do that?
Yeah, fire dwarf. That's freaking cool, man.
And the two of you are able to walk through the warm, but are able to walk through to the other side. There in this central courtyard area, underneath the assembly building that's protected by its own magical dome, you see this dark robe-wearing, beak-nosed guy from the Guild of Doors. The rest of your friends, you see Xander come with this dwarf.
Hello, this is Master Fräulein of the Tempering Guild.
And this is Master Dagwin.
I will go get Almaray. Piercy will just run into the water
All
at full speed, bringing one of the robes with him. He will go to Dagwin. Do you have a token I can show to prove you are willing to talk?
No.
What about you? And he'll go to the fire one.
She, Fräulein doesn't even look at you.
Okay.
Piercy, just tell them we're at the courtyard waiting for them.
Okay. After me.
And Piercy, you race over there. You're able to talk with her, but I need you to make a quick diplomacy roll.
Understood. D is for diplomacy. Oh, wow. I will use 1 hero point. I rolled a 4. I'll do a little better if I can. Much, much better. 17, 32. What is that? 49.
Whoa. The Guild of Eyes, Master Almere, the diviner, is very excited about the opportunity and goes with you immediately.
I'm not even wet from going through the water together so quick.
Excuse me. They are all gathered together with you guys there. And Dagwin says, Foreline. She says, And Almere arrives. She says, I hope this will prove better use of our time than the last time we met. And they all turn and look at Sildren.
No pressure.
You've all agreed to be here based on word that we have brought to you of what is happening outside of your protected barrier. You can't see outside of it. You don't know what's been going on. But you trust our words. You trust us. We've called you here because Azimere needs to be united. The division between the Assembly needs to end. And Callian Varro needs to be returned to her place.
This is true.
Without her, Verenn will likely fall. If Verenn falls...
Why are we talking about Callian Varro? We need to be talking about lowering the barrier.
Callian Varro is the first step to lowering the barrier. You all have your own interests, but you don't seem to see how they affect each other. You need to work together to aid and support each other's interests for the good of the whole, for the good of Azimere, and for the good of Verenn. All of this fighting and division is getting nobody anywhere. You will die in your fortress of water, in your maze of doors, and in your protective fire if you don't work together. We all will die.
The Dwarven Guildmaster of the Tempering Guild, Master Foreline, says, enough of this. Let's stop bickering, and if we're going to do this, let's do this legally. And she casts a spell, waving her hands, and the golden dome above vanishes. Not the main one over the city, but the one over the building directly above.
Okay.
And Master Dagwin grumbles and says, fine. And he casts a spell, and a rather repeated copy and pasted door appears right before him. And he opens the door and storms inside. And the other guildmasters follow as well.
And Phil Sildren follows the guildmaster.
All right. And
Yeah.
After everyone else.
you guys go through. The door opens up onto the island above, just about 10 feet away from that blue big door that led into that giant spire. The guildmasters walk in, some of them grumbling bad things about each other, although Master Almere, the diviner, seems much more calm. They go through. As each of you go through, you find yourself slightly pulled at by the door, and you find clarity within that. And I need each of you to move your character sheets back to their original owners.
Oh, man.
You have been unshifted. All silly magic from lesser guilds in this city has been removed. All players now have their original characters.
Oh, it's good to be home.
You having hesitation?
I was getting used to playing. Now Bally's gonna get some
Somebody's
dumb
not
idea that
giving
he's,
their character
he's
sheet
gonna
back.
charge up with his warhammer on someone. And
In addition,
and I have fixed the screen as
nice,
well, so
perfect,
we're
one
back.
click, perfect. In addition, I need Bali, Sildren, and Xander to make a spell attack roll. 42 is your target number. Need a pass, fail, critical fail.
49. Pass.
Pass.
Almost critical.
What was the number?
42.
42.
Dang it, that was you.
44.
That's a pass. Two passes.
2 passes.
Sorry, what's my?
Spell attack.
Either probably 29 or 30.
It'll be the DC. No, this is for the attack. I think I could do better than a 10. I'll spend a hero point. Reroll it a 10. Oh, it went way low. 31.
Is a critical failure. Xander, you feel yourselves limited and restricted in your magic coming into the assembly chambers. Xander and Sildren, you can only cast spells within this structure from levels 1 to 6, not any spells above that. Bali, with a critical... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys passed, right?
Yeah.
Bali, that applies to you as well, but it's only spell levels 1 through 2.
Oh, perfect. Lock.
Hey, yeah, I was
lock
about to say, you
door.
lock any door you want, man.
God! Insult to injury.
You mock me, sir. You mock me.
You wounded this door.
back at your own peril.
Well, he's only cast a level 2 spell, so yeah, there's some peril.
So just to
Far too perilous.
clarify, my spells that typically max out at 9 naturally, with no preparation, those are now forcibly pushed down and only cast at level 2?
You cannot cast a spell at higher than level 2.
Okay. Y'all heard that, right?
I'm sure it's fine.
My battle medicine is nice right now.
There you go.
Letting you know.
You are taken through chamber after chamber, up into higher and higher in this area until you are brought into a big magical chamber. And by magical, I mean it has floating little orbs that you're not sure their purpose. There's an eerie magical sound. You feel somewhat at ease, a little bit of clarity. You see the frown that is on Master Dagwin's face drops just a little bit as they all go in. There are... almost like pew curved stone benches that face a giant five throne-like seats that are there. Master Almere, the Lady Diviner, she walks up to an old man in the classic old ancient wizard-looking dude, and she touches him gingerly on the shoulder, and he nods. And then Master Almere, she takes a seat. Dagwin just nods at the guy, and he takes a seat. The man walks over to you and says, "Oh, good evening and welcome. I'm glad to see you were able to come. I heard perhaps we might meet someday, and I see you bring my friends."
We are pleased to make your acquaintance, Master.
Tito.
You don't want to handle this one?
What if there was an optional switchback?
No, I got this. Give me a shot.
You were doing great.
We could just tag in at any time for each other.
It seems you already have knowledge of who we are. And may we have the honor of knowing you as well.
Of course, I am Chancellor Nalar. I am a source of some confidence here within all Corndell, but it appears I perhaps have failed that of late, but here we are.
That failure is not of your own doing, Chancellor.
I had a sense of that, but I do not know all that you speak. Fourline, the Dwarven Temper Guild Master, she takes her seat.
If I may enlighten you on what our knowledge is of this.
Of course.
The If you are familiar with the Honorcrin, they are a race of people from the 11th span, another plane of existence. They have been attempting to to take over this realm, Verenn. They have, some time ago, months ago, planted a device called the Wavering Sphere. It has brought much emotional damage to the entire realm. It has caused your guilds to fight. It has affected the minds of all and has caused them to be unable to stand together and united against this threat. That sphere has now been destroyed.
By you?
By us. Yes.
I have heard of these Onokrin. I have sensed some of their magic. It is quite potent from beyond our realm.
It is. And we have done what we can to defeat them.
A woman enters from a side area. She is wearing a green robe and has bare feet. She casts eyes upon Sildren with a confused look, but she comes over and she takes one of those 5 seats.
Ah, good. The council is all here.
And he says, yes. And I should take my seat, please. And he points to the pew-like audience seats for the lot of you. And he goes up and takes the center throne seat. Everything's very bright white, again, with these little floating orb-like floating around. We are here, and Corindel, assemble! Alistair was already waiting for it.
26 movies, fucking 3 TV shows, seasons.
We are here for the meeting of the assembly, which is a sight for my sore eyes. I'm glad to have you here. To make it official, I am Chancellor Nilar. Beside me is Master Azimere from the Guild of Eyes. Master Dagwin. Yes, just get over it. Master Dagwin from the Guild of Doors. And Master Fourline from the Tempering Guild.
Master Yaru.
And Vanya, Druid Pro Tempore. We are here to address what other issues we need, though I am not quite clear and see perhaps there are some issues that may need to be brought up. And everyone just kind of looks at each other. Some seething, some dismissive, and the Chancellor seeming confused, as does the Druid lady as well.
Does Sildren recognize Vanya?
Yes, you know her as a druid from the northern section of Azimere in the woods where you are from. You did some training with her in your youth.
And I assume Pro Tempora is a title of some sort?
Yes.
Like acting elder druid type situation?
Yes.
Assistant to the elder druid.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's the left-hand person.
Right.
What matters shall we discuss here? And I hope in a respectful way, and we can perhaps move forward here within Corindel and Azimere. And they immediately start arguing and talking about each other. Well, the fire rods. No, you mean the stones, and well, the barrier. And they argue, loud and loud. And it gets louder and louder. He's trying to quiet them down, and to no success. And it's just building in chaos.
If you, Sildren or Yaru,
Yeah.
you pick, buddy. I'm ready.
Oh, sorry.
No cause for alarm?
I don't think that's necessary.
Well, no, we need to do this, and I can't. Well, you said this before. Well, I created the water. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't have done this in the first place. What a total waste of time. And I don't know. Well, no, we need to stay here. Now, absolutely. Who brought you here? And I don't know.
He is going to. Here it is. Piercy's necklace that he has on sort of flashes for a moment, and he opens his mouth to speak, and it's a booming, low, dragony voice.
Okay.
And he says,
Yeah, mix that accent up, dude. Do it. Stepped right into that one.
Piercy. He says, "Yeah."
Piercy says, y'all stop your arguing.
He's the Duke.
We are here to unite. Speak once at a time. Listen. Cast your vote and to move along to the next thing. Time is not on our side. We need to get things done now and orderly.
You break through the chaos and they all stop speaking. The master of the Guild of Doors, Dagwin, says, "Then let's talk first about the barrier. That is the most obvious thing, as it's surrounding the entire city and prevents anything from happening outside. Clearly, that is what we need to talk about. And I suggest immediately we vote to remove it. If Fourline could come to her senses and would agree to such."
Piercy eyes Master Dagwin.
Okay.
With that last comment there, just kind of gives him a stink.
All
eye.
right. The Chancellor Nalar says, "Well, then we can keep this simple. Who would like to vote to remove the barrier protecting the city currently?" And Dagwin raises his hands. Almaray raises her hands. "And who would like to keep the barrier in place?" And Master Fourline, the maintainer of it, she raises her hand. Chancellor Nalar looks around and he raises his hand as well.
And I give Vanya a really hard look, like, keep your fucking hand
down. She looks at you.
You should have raised your hand the first time.
And
To the gladiator.
Actually-
everyone looks at her and
Oh, I get a vote, don't I? As I mean, I'm waiting for her.
she says, "I am not quite sure what to do in this particular situation." And the Chancellor says, "Well, you are here on behalf of the Druids. Your vote counts as well as the guilds." And she looks at you again, Sildren.
Tell her to not vote for it.
Druid Vanya. As we have spoken about here, Verenn and all of its creatures are in great peril. If this barrier remains, Azimere does not unite, and we do not work together to destroy the threats that currently face Verenn, all will be lost. The choice is clear.
That's right. Vote, vote. She says, as her answer, "I have a question then. Children of the Seventh Conclave."
I am children of the 9 conclaves.
Is that your title, Sildren?
As an elder druid, I oversee all of the conclaves.
The Chancellor seems surprised to hear that. "Then with this knowledge confirmed, I respectfully step down from this seat." And she nervously gets off and bows deeply to you, Sildren.
And I return an appropriate bow
Half bow.
to her. Yeah, essentially.
And she takes a seat behind the group in the main seating area.
And I may presume then that seat is now mine.
The Chancellor motions for you to take the 5th seat.
And Sildren takes the 5th seat.
Sildren does.
Agreed.
Sildren, you go up and you take the seat. Well, what are you going to vote?
My vote is to remove the barrier.
Yeah! Says Dagwood excitedly.
Wario? Puts on a yellow cap.
Chancellor Nalar says, then it is decided. And everyone looks at Fourline. And
Scorecard 1 for Dagwood.
And Fourline has her arms crossed. She doesn't look at anyone, but she just nods. And Chancellor says, I will take that as a agreement. The barrier will be removed today, then. What other business shall we attend to? He says, looking at the 4 other members.
We must speak of the release of Callie and Vero.
I agree with this request. The Chancellor says, the member of that guild has violated the law while you were not in this position and your predecessor was.
And as I understand, the laws that she violated was to leave the city and leave this plane. And she, in fact, saved me on the 11th span while we dealt with the Honorcrin. As you know, she is a diviner and has visions beyond many's understandings. And as such, she knew what she must do to save Verenn, regardless of what well-intentioned but ill-suited restrictions were put on. She is pivotal, and she is pivotal to the well-being of Verenn. And if she is not released and returned to her position, it is a risk to all of Verenn.
I am in agreement with the Elder Druid. The dwarf speaks up. She broke the law. She needs to pay the consequences, or what purpose is the law? Sildren, make a diplomacy roll, please. Didn't know that skill upgrade was going to be so important, did you?
I kind of did, actually. 32.
32. You have Master Dagwin shaking his head and saying, I hate to agree with Fourline, but we have laws in place for a reason. And the Chancellor says, I suppose it is up to me. But they do bring up a good point, Elder Druid.
That is true. And the laws do need to be respected.
So you are changing your vote?
I am not. While the law is to be respected, and there is a cost that Callie and Vero must pay for the breaking of them, that does not mean she cannot be returned.
So you suggest a different punishment?
I do.
I could agree to that, then. So, Callie and Vero of the Guild of Eyes shall be released immediately.
And summarily executed.
And he waves his hands, and some other young wizard guy goes running off.
Now, to the saving of Verenn.
Everyone turns their eyes to you. Palik's eating popcorn loudly.
Yeah.
Xander's taking all of the notes.
Yaru is ready to be tagged. Yeah.
The
Oh, man.
honor, we have destroyed the wavering sphere at a cost. We have several of us have now been cursed, and in 6 days we shall likely die if we do not fulfill what this high-ranking member of the Onacrin, Second Calibret in Ire, wishes us to bring his armies forth. He suggested Calavier but I have another thought to that. We may need them to battle against Scourgeonar and his undead armies. There are now undead pouring from Palacia. They have already overrun Iveron. They have nearly overrun the Dwarven Halls. Navarre is on the brink of collapse. Calavier suffers as well, though they yet stand. But they stand alone. And to do so, they cannot sustain and will fall. This is a time for all of Verenn to come together, to face this evil, and to save the world we live in. You have gathered knowledge, information, and power on this island for just such a time. That time is now upon us. You have all, in some way, made promises, decisions, oaths to protect Azimere, to protect Corindel, and to protect Verenn. Now is the time to fulfill those vows, because no greater threat has been upon this realm since Byron was in existence. Stand now, join together, defend Verenn, fulfill your oaths, or all is lost.
The three guildmasters look at the chancellor, and he says, We need the room, please. To the rest of you sitting, watching.
Aw.
Except for Sildren.
Except for Sildren.
Be gone.
Son of a bitch.
I see it more likely something like, my children,
Yeah.
go.
Holding out his ring to be kissed on the way out.
Can't sit on that chair forever.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yaru will hesitantly be like, "Are you sure? Okay," and he'll walk out.
Okay. You guys walk out, and you walk over to a Callian Verreau standing outside the door holding her head. She sees you, and she shakes her head a bit and says, "Oh, I should have known it would have been you. I literally should have known it would have been you. I suppose I owe you my thanks."
No thanks needed. You've rescued us when we needed it. Feel like one bad.
You've also kicked our ass a time or two, but that's beside the point.
I'm certainly glad to see you here. Absolutely glad to see you here. That means all is not lost. Verenn still has hope if you are here.
Yes, even that hope is waning. But hopefully, whatever happens behind these doors will help quell the waning and solve the problem of Verenn dying.
The one of the young adept guys for this assembly goes to close this big white door and gets told something by the chancellor, and then he points at Piercy, shakes his head, and points at Xander and says, "They want you inside."
Hi, but okay. Xander heads inside.
Xander goes inside. Xander goes to the middle of the seats, plops down, flips up his robe, and plops down awkwardly and sits there and kicks his legs up in the air.
Is everyone really tall here? This is really tall.
Can I get a bigger seat?
The chancellor speaks once the door is closed. Elder Druid, we feel it is important to let you know something now that you have taken your rightful seat here. We have failed in our duties, he says, looking at the other three guildmasters, and our primary duty of the last few years has been maintaining a barrier that I'm sure you have heard of, the Mithril Barrier, in the southern section of Verenn. That and weaving a constant magic to keep a very dangerous power at bay. And we must now return our focus, for I fear once this shield protecting our city is down, we will find we have left our task abandoned and in need of much attention. As our efforts have been focusing on keeping this dangerous power muted, Elder Druid, once the chaos attacking Verenn is gone, according to Azimere, she has had visions that this dangerous power will settle back down. Apparently it is riled by these assaults upon our realm through different dimensions, and we must continue our tasks to keep it numb.
What power do you speak of?
I speak of a dark and very powerful wizard. A wizard who was once studious, magical, powerful, seeking a retired life or an eternal life based on some. He went from a man of skill and devotion to magic and a friend of mine from long ago to become a corrupted monster of power. You, pointing to Xander, you have a key upon you. Yes?
Yes, I do. The Nexus key?
That is the one. We have watched various Nexus points being used throughout Verenn, which I assume has been by you.
It has, me and the other defenders. It's been one of the only ways that we've been able to make the defenses that we have against all of the threats that have been out there.
And new ones created, too?
Yes!
Yeah!
Is that Dagwood?
Yeah.
I like this guy!
Jesto up here. How'd he get up here?
Well, until you came along then with the Nexus key, the last Nexus point to have been used remained in its final state for years. So tell me this, sorcerer. What was the destination the Nexus was connected to when you first found that podium? What book was upon it? For therein lies your answer as to what happened to the great wizard Antonia who created the Nexus.
The first book that I read on the podium was, I believe, in Southern Verenn.
That is correct. And there is your answer for who we keep at bay.
But we needed another enemy to fight.
Do you mean Antonio, who created the Nexus points? Who left me the Nexus key as an elemental sorcerer, is now an evil, dark, powerful wizard that's corrupted as a monster?
By the name of Zexa, yes.
Wow.
But as I said, our efforts have been to keep him numb, to keep his ambitions low, for our magic to keep his efforts down. And if you can stop these threats on Verenn, his agitation, his greed, his hunger will subside again, and we will be able to keep him isolated once more. And that is why I bring this up to you now, Elder Druid, for you to know what our task needs to continue to be.
How long before, if these threats are not dealt with, how long before Zexa were to gain power enough to overrun Verenn, Azimere?
I would not imagine him overrunning all of Verenn, but he would certainly immediately collapse Thaven and consume Thave. And then his efforts would then be to take out us.
And how long before, in your estimation, that would be possible for the collapse of Thave?
Almare says, I have visions of a year from now.
We don't have that much time. You're fine. No worries.
So perhaps that gives you some insight as to what is happening here.
It does. And though your efforts may continue to be focused on that, we need what resources we can, and your clear minds for Verenn to continue to exist.
Well, I know I can help, says Dagwood. And perhaps we might be able to help as well. He whispers something to his young attendant. That young attendant comes to the door and opens it up and says, you can come in now. Yaru, Colleen Vereau, talks quietly in your ear as you all go back in. She seeming a little uncomfortable, but she does go in. What is your plan, monk?
I wish for an audience with this council. We have much work to do.
I'm sure that can certainly be arranged. And everyone comes in. And they say, the Chancellor, we have spoken and have some reservations on what we can and cannot do, but we do wish to help. Callian Vereau interrupts him and says, as I have been accused of crimes and imprisoned in attempting to help this land, I demand time here to speak my piece. I am allowed that, am I not? Yes, you are. Then I wish to speak not by myself, but give a voice to someone else in my stead. And she points to Master Yaru.
Okay. Yaru will approach the bench. Much of what I am about to say has already been said, but it is not less important. Master Dagwin, you have the capability of spreading messages far across this plane faster than any bird could fly. I believe with this council's approval, our message to the world could become undoubted. This is the message that I would spread to the world. I'll give one of these to each of you. I'm just going to read this.
All right. There's the young adept guy is taking notes of this as well.
Master Dagwin and you, fellow council members, I would ask you to send this message to the great leaders of Verenn. The wavering sphere is gone. Char-Ice defeated. We, your chosen few, move now to face the undead. Our party has seen much of the ancient world, heard the histories of many nations and great figures. We have convened with gods and devils alike. Through this struggle, through our struggle, we have befriended enemies and sent friends to rest forever. Order has been restored in some lands, while chaos still thrives in others. In all of this, we do not ask for praise and will accept condemnation of our actions. But our efforts will be for nothing if the people of this world do not come together and rebuild after this time of darkness and doubt. The people of Verenn must learn from our hardships and the lessons of those who come before us. Those who can must face death and fight together. Any who remain should look inward, rise up out of despair, and join us in our battle cry as we take on this silent fate once and for all. And if you would sign it from your defenders, Master Yaru of the Temple of the Three Winds, Sir Percy von Skeetenlever, Knight of Mirskon, Sildren, Elder Druid of Verenn, Bolly Ashbeard, Cleric of Shadow Hall, Palik, the greatest swordsman in Verenn, and Xaner, defender of the realm, champion of the wolf, speaker of House Ralmar, sorcerer supreme, chain wizard, and in honor of Killian Fennel, cleric of Carahel, in honor of Jix, king of the Hammerheads, in honor of Ignal Heavybringer, captain of King Phaon's guard, in honor of Idrisil, warden of the north, and in honor of Sir Brenros Aldramain, knight of Calavier, and the bravest of men. For Yathane and Yelena, join us.
Is there any response from the heroes around this other than seeing Yarrow get a hero point for that?
I didn't get bravest of men for sure. That
was a typo.
Can I have some more
appreciate, yeah,
titles? I mean, I'm.
Hero point for Yaru.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Well deserved.
That's well written.
Do the heroes have any reaction to that?
I mean,
Quiet stunned.
Yeah, I mean,
I got all my titles. Thank you for all
I had
of those.
etc. in there as well.
Well, I will have my Guild of Doors send this message to every wizard and connection and leader we have then. Within 36 hours, everyone of note will have this message. And I can take you wherever you need to go within moments.
Our time is limited. And I do not speak for the rest of us, but I think we should take what time we have left and gather information of the silent fate before we make our approach. Return to the Nexus, and in 1 day's time, or in 36 hours' time, we shall begin the assault. Unless you want to go faster than that.
we have.
It's cutting it close.
Yeah. I would like to see that expedited to some degree. We, as the defenders, I believe, should discuss what our plans shall have to be moving forward.
We need an army.
We do.
We need the 36 hours for the army.
This message is to get the people of Verenn away from the thoughts and the doubts of the wavering sphere. I do not expect everyone to join us, but if even in hope will we make our efforts known.
And the army we may have to be the Honor Crin.
Callian Vero leans over to you, Xaner, and whispers in your ear.
Level 18 ain't shit.
She says, as Tim dies over there, she says, there is a vision I've had, a simple secret within all the messages that they wrote. And my vision is that you fail to grasp that, and a challenging battle just becomes incredibly deadly. Does that mean something to you?
Yes, a bit. We finally received all of the messages of the Scoriel passages. There's 8 of them. We got all of them all. But there is, according to the Feathered Sage, a message within the messages that we need to decode.
Something with silly wordplay by the creator of the messages.
A little bit. A lot of firsts.
Self-burn.
According to that. So we need to work on that, and that's my very next task. We had a wavering sphere we had to deal with. You had a prison, but you're here now, so if I have, like, I don't know, an hour, we could probably find something.
The Chancellor says, well, we have a message that can be sent out, and transportation for you. I'm not sure how that would work with your nexus.
All right, he can't take us to the next.
Dagwin says, no. There's an old pedestal outside on an island that hasn't been used in over a decade. That goes to the nexus. So you can return here, and then I can give you somewhat of a one-way path to wherever you need to go.
That sounds great.
Sounds awesome.
I can't believe I get to use the Guild of Doors. Do you have any
That's what
idea
I'm
how much I've
saying.
been reading about the Guild of Doors? You gotta hear this part. Dagwood, you remember there was this one time. that the doors-
Then we will conclude this meeting after our last bit of aid that we can give you. And in come several of the adepts bringing chest and chest of magical items for the group. Gifts from Corindel and the Assembly to help the defenders of Verenn. And
Now that Palik's back.
the question now I will propose for the first time, as I will not take control of it, as a group, do you want to know what that is? Or would you like to stop there for tonight?
Oh my goodness.
Let's stop there and come back to an awesome.
A loot chest.
I agree.
tomorrow.
Then we will stop there for tonight, and we will see you next time for one hell of an adventure. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check us out on Discord, join the community, and check out our Patreon. That certainly helps. Check out ingloriousbards.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
night.
Bye.
Goodbye.